classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay, I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now is left to me to deal with him. You can't.
If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5 Blighted Warden.
In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spores' eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side.
So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay, I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now is left to me to deal with him. You can't.
If you try to interfere,
this becomes a much simpler matter.
Hi there, everybody. Welcome
Hi,
back
everybody. Welcome
to
back.
Roll with Advantage. Very good to be here for this episode of the Tales of Evrand. Let's roll the intro and dive in.
To the world of Evrand.
The Seekers of Insanity.
I told you to leave me alone. I could do this.
I wanted us to live and I wanted him dead.
I am so happy to see you.
Every party needs a pooper.
Raise the blade!
John, are you having fun? And we're back. And thank you so much to John Romeo for following. You helped us reach our follower goal. That's so awesome of you. Thank you so much. Huge W for being here. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and dive in. I'm a streamer, can't you tell?
Well, yep. Welcome to the Tales of Evrand, Book 9, Chapter 9, or Session 95. We're getting so close to the triple digits, guys. That's where we're going to end on 100. Anyways, before we dive into the game, as we do every single week, Joe reads summary. Joe, take us in.
Let's do it. Let's do it, dude. Last time on the Tales of Evrand, Book 9, Chapter 8, The Beginning of the End. We received more information from our allies. Hombefort and Lunaria were under attack. We decided in that moment to use plane shift to get to Hombefort. Just before we shifted, the Kraken attacked our ship, but we managed to teleport away before it destroyed it. Upon arriving in Hombefort, we decided to split up. Yrsa, Enid, and Gak head to Lunaria to save Yrsa's people and protect the rift, while Rian, Gideon, and Basil stay behind. Both groups managed to dispatch the demons flooding the area and save the people. However, the Rakshasa Morgrim in Hombefort escapes before we can slay him. In Lunaria, to keep the rift safe, Yrsa begins to shift and change, becoming more powerful and full of divine energy. The elements bend to her will in this truly awe-inspiring feat of power. Shortly after, the Queen of Eldon contacts us, urging that we have to hurry, as things have worsened. Before we can plane shift to the council, Gak pulls Yrsa aside, pointing out that her magical feat must be related to this connection with Melora. Gak reassures Yrsa not to worry, promising that they'll figure it out, 100%, as he said. They share a comforting hug amidst the chaos. From there, we teleport into the throne room, where Orion, an advisor to the queen, brother of Marithel and fucking dragon, leads us into a secret room attached to the throne. All the advisors are present. Sorry, I heard a noise. All the advisors are present, along with one in Valamine colors and robes, wearing a pin of a golden hand, the hand of the king of Valamine. Behind this man stands an individual in all black with a red mask, a member of an order that tortures and executes those who break the highest laws of Valamine. What he ends up telling us is Valamine, the capital city, is destroyed. The king is dead, millions have been lost, and a floating city, presumed to be Ventus Ferrum, the city of Rian's people, has appeared. We point out all the rifts we know on the material plane, and Enid happens to notice the mark of the Demogorgon on the treasurer of the council. Gak restrains him with a spell, and he reveals himself to be a servant of the Demogorgon. The Queen of Eastvaria sentences him to prison and states he will have a trial. As Gak drops the spell and the guards move to restrain him, the red-masked individual attempts to use the spell Finger of Death on the treasurer, but luckily, Gak counterspells it. The treasurer is taken prisoner, and the rest of the council is dismissed. And now it's up to us to try and unite these three kingdoms of Istvaria, Valumine, and Dagrim to fight against the Demogorgon and finally bring an end to this chaos.
Thank you, Joe. Wonderful summary as always. So, diving back into the session. Everyone has left the council chambers of the Emerald Castle within Eildon of Istvaria. You've all been escorted to a singular large room where cots were brought to all of you so that you could stay in the singular room as to not be attacked in the middle of the night. You are left to your devices. You are notified that tomorrow the kingdoms of Ephira will be meeting at a place called the Summit, an ancient, old place that has not been used in centuries, where the kingdoms come together to talk only in times of need. As you are led into this room, all of you kind of sit down and look around at this beautiful, opulent part of the castle, untouched from Umbraxgor. And as you did walk through, you did see some construction still going on from that battle. The guards leave you to your devices, and you are alone. So, Seekers, you have some time on this night to talk amongst each other before the summit.
Rian doesn't have anything.
Anyone have anything?
Not really.
I got one very tiny thing just for the group. Have some individual stuff, but for the group, Gideon would just look around. Morgrum's probably going to be at this summit, isn't he?
Well, he very well may be, but this time if he shows up, I'm going to be extra cautious to ensure that, well, if anyone reeks of the Abyss, I'll know it beforehand.
Kill him.
Yeah, that would be nice if we could finally get rid of his
Kill him.
snarky ass.
The only way to do that is to kill him in the abyss.
Well, if we kill him in the material plane, at least delays him a bit. We don't have to worry about him for a week or so. So I'll at least take that. It seems as though before we can go into the Abyss, we need to handle what's happening here first.
I'm less worried about Morgrum killing or harming us versus him doing something that throws these talks into chaos. Furthers the infighting rather than stops it. I'm just saying we should be on the lookout. I know we already will be, but I just thought it was worth mentioning.
I would like to think the world is ending and everybody should, in theory, be all on the same page about what needs to be done. I mean, I think it speaks volumes that anyone from the Valamite Empire would be so willing to step forward. So other than him showing up, I feel as though this should go well. And maybe that's wishful thinking, but the world is ending. We don't really have time for squabbles between who has more power over what. But maybe that's just my line of thinking.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, if any of these leaders come into that council tomorrow or whenever we end up going to discuss it and they try to talk about redrawing borders or what they have to gain from this, I'm going to
I'll be a
abstain from
bitch.
talking at all because I too will be a bitch, Basil, and that's
I'll
not
talk.
something. Well, I don't think we should start with weapons drawn. Needless to say, I think that
No, if it seems like things are going in the wrong direction, you know, I don't mind, you know, being a prick, honestly.
one thing I will say is, from what I know of nobility, they probably. The sad thing is that might do more harm than good. But at the end of the day, we have to try everything.
It's getting more difficult to feel like we're always just running in blind. I feel like I remember when things seemed a little bit more set in stone for us. We knew what we were doing, why we had to do something, and we got it done. And now, so many things are trying to kill us and this world, and we have to decide what to do first and hope that it doesn't get worse. We deserve a vacation after this.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry if you guys hear it. Our upstairs neighbors, they have children.
Damn.
And
They're going
if you
crazy
hear,
right now.
they like to run around. So if you hear that, that are little feet stomping above us.
You good?
It's just the guards around the castle.
Yeah.
Shut the hell up. We're sleeping.
So, at this moment, you do hear a knock on the door.
I'll get it. Kidding goes and opens the door.
As you open the door, you see two guards flanking the queen. She says, "Oh, hello, Gideon. May I come in?"
Of course, he'll step aside.
She looks towards the guards and says, "I'll be fine, at ease." And kind of just stand there, and she walks in and says, "I hope you are finding your accommodations to your liking. I have some news for all of you. The summit will not be tomorrow morning. It will be the day after. We've gotten word from the Emperor of Syria, Emperor Nazim. He will be attending. I would like to formally ask all of you if you would be keen to accompany me as my counsel to this meeting."
Yeah.
And I mean, if you truly want us there, then
After the events that transpired with the treasurer, with Alexander, I am very untrustworthy to the others. I also know that Orion will be staying here to make sure things go smoothly in my absence. The others, I've requested they stay here as well. And as all of you have the most knowledge of the threat that we face, I would feel the most comfortable if you would accompany me.
I think it's a good idea.
I agree. One thing that I will say, we were just talking about it before you arrived. If you have any paladins under your employ, or perhaps some of the individuals, well, honestly, I'd prefer to keep it to people that we trust. There is a Rakshasha, a creature from the abyss, that has a tendency to disguise itself to try and perform assassinations or just subterfuge in general. some paladins, they have the ability to sense that sort of corruption from the abyss. I think it'd be a very good idea for everyone as they enter to be checked. It doesn't need to be formally, but just some things, that way we can know and make sure that everyone is at least humanoid or, well, it's for the masked individual with the hand of the Valamine Empire. Undead, I guess.
I do hope that Lucian does not ask him to join us. Would you have access to this magic?
I do, yeah.
Would you be willing to be the one, at least on our side, that
Of course.
checks for these?
Yeah.
I have others that could, but again, I trust you.
I can.
I will send messages to the other lords and kings. I will say that where we are going is in a, what is the term, pocket plane? The magic that takes us there only allows those permitted inside. This Rakshasa you are speaking of is permitted, and he could get through, of course. I'll send messages. Thank you for letting me know about this.
Of course.
You'll have a day. Prepare your things. Speak to who you need to. And by that time, we'll be leaving for the summit. I must warn all of you that this will be the first time that the Kingdom of Dagram and the Valamine Empire have spoken to each other within the last 150 years. There is much malice between the two of them. They despise one another. Things should not go awry. There should not be swords drawn, but I know if there are, I'm glad to have you on my side. And if there's nothing else, I have much to attend to before the summit. I see, and she bows. Good night. And
Good night.
she walks out. Guards close the door, leave all of you to your devices. Now, you have a day before this conversation, this meeting between the four kingdoms of the world. Is there anything that you would like to prepare or do before this meeting?
Do we have like a list of everybody who will be attending?
You can get one. Just asking around. It will be. This is a very, very small gathering, and only the most trusted individuals will allow to be at the summit. It will be the Queen of Eastvaria and the party. It will be Lucian, the hand of the King of Valamine. It's not known if the Red Mask will come, but he will have some of the Valaminian guards with him. It will be the King of Dagram, who goes by the name of Hulfric Stormfall. He will be accompanied by his own King's Guard. It's not you're not sure, Ursa, if their Rift Warden will attend. Due to the nature of things, it's not... Normally they would, but you do know that their capital, Thalbadir, is under siege because they have a rift as well. And then the Emperor of Syri, Nazim al-Jalal, will be attending as well. You're not sure who he will bring, or if it will just be him and his King's Guard. That's the extent of it.
So nobody like too suspicious other than, the ones we saw today.
No, this is a very, very secluded, and not a lot of people are allowed to go to these things.
I mean, yeah, I don't think yours else other than, I don't know, how do you prepare for something like this, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any potions, magical items that anybody can think of that would be helpful in this situation. I mean, scrolls we maybe want to get for certain spells.
I mean, we're going into a pocket dimension, right? Is that what you just said? So, like,
Yeah.
in this dimension, is magic I mean, obviously we can cast, like, stuff. But
I
is
mean,
that
magic will definitely be accessible. It's not an
okay?
anti-magic dimension.
Okay.
I mean, maybe anyone got calm emotions, just in case somebody really pops off.
Actually, I might. Hold on.
Yeah, you could probably prepare it.
Let's see. Yeah, I got calm emotions.
Basil just brings
Papaya.
weed. She misunderstands the assignment.
Listen.
Just pulls it out. Guys, you're a little bit too heated. Just take a puff.
She always means well.
Do we want to like present to them any plans we have to kill the Demogorgon? Do we have a plan yet to kill Demogorgon?
Well, what did the Raven Queen? She just said that he just dies, right? Like he just has to be killed in the abyss.
Yeah,
Pretty
but
much.
are we? Sorry, Ryan, didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
you're good.
Same.
I just meant like, how are we plane shifting there? Are we picking a place to put? Like, do we have like a plane? Like, are we just walking in us? Like,
So, I wasn't gonna really role play this out, but it was gonna happen later tonight, so we can just discuss it now.
sorry.
No, you're fine. So Gideon was hoping that entering into Rian's dream, that he could recreate the spot where Demogorgon pulled him in, where Ventus Ferrum was.
Right.
Because because like Rian was there, like he knows it. If Gideon can kind of learn and know of it, if we get to the abyss, Gideon has a one-time cast of Find the Path that we can use to get to that spot if that's a place that we think Demogorgon would be.
Oh, it's spicy.
So, I mean, without role playing it, if you do that tonight, right when you guys go to bed, I could tell you the information you would gather from that. The information you would gather from that replaying that scene is that Rian was just teleported into the middle of this abyssal jungle that the Demogorgon is lord over, or prince over. And Demogorgon's plane of existence in the layer of the abyss he is just a demonic, twisted jungle of sorts. But Rian was close enough to see Ventus Ferrum in the distance, because it kind of towered over everything. It was in the air, kind of floating there. Demogorgon was waiting for Rian when he teleported him in,
right,
and then chased him. So the spot where Rian was is not really important. One of the important parts is in the distance past Ventus Ferrum was a very, very large, tall, black tower. That was, I mean, just think the Tower of Sauron, and without the eyeball.
Okay.
And you would probably ascertain that's Demogorgon's home. That's like his throne room, his castle, basically. Other than that, there's no real, like, the place is just abstract in general. So there's not really like features you would pick out other than those key features of Ventus Ferrum and the tower in the background. That's pretty much it.
Still, if we can use it to get to where Rian was, then at least we know we can see the tower and we can make our way from there. It at least stops us from being just completely lost if we just kind of go in semi-blind, because I don't think we can go to the, map shop and get a map of the abyss.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's at least something, to
Start.
like, go off of.
I mean, honestly, so we don't have to traverse the jungle. We could, I'm sure Orion, at least in the day or so, or maybe he already has it, like, if we could get a scroll of teleport, so, like, we could go to the jungle that's a fair distance away from the tower. Yrsa could, like, fly up into the air, or anybody with
Gideon could, anybody that could fly up just looks, sees the tower, and then uses the scroll of teleport to, boom, get there.
That could work.
Because at that point, we can see it. So,
and Ventus Ferrum is in the middle of Valley Mine City, right?
From what you've heard, what you've heard so far, it was teleported into the city of Valamine, destroying everything.
Okay. What is Gak's memory of the Izeran's lair in Ventus Ferrum, basically, where he would be talked to?
So most of the time you saw your visions in the actual palace. So Ventus Ferrum is like a layered city, almost like Yusvaria is, except on a much larger scale. It's kind of like, I guess it would be like if Gondor was a circle, all the way around, and taller, and wider, and then also had Eastern architecture. That's what Ventus Ferrum looks like. So where you talked to Izeran was mostly in the palace, which is at the very, very top of the city. And then inside of the palace, underneath, not a dungeon per se, but a room underneath was his workshop, because he was the archmage. So he lived in the palace. And those last final things where he teleported the city, did all of those spells, was underneath the city that had this almost network of runes that allowed the city to teleport.
Gotcha. I think Gak would probably wonder out loud to everybody about wondering if there was something in Ventus Ferrum that Gak could find and use to get us to the abyss. But he's not sure. He would just be talking out loud, basically.
Is there any other conversations or any information you want to ascertain before the summit?
I think we're just going into it telling them that we because and correct me if I'm wrong, gang. The goal is after the summit is over, we just go there, right? We have all the vestiges. The summit, in theory, is going to hopefully put everybody on the same page, and then we go after the demo? Question mark.
I thought we still wanted to kill those two creatures that he was sapping power from.
Oh, yeah, we should probably do that. Yeah.
I will say this, not to meta game the game, but there will be information you gain from the summit, and after the summit there will be choices you will have to make that will affect everything in the end.
Okay. Well, then let's just get to the summit first. But we kind of have an idea of, once we get there, how we're gonna get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we have our side figured out, or a rough sketch of it. So if they ask us, well, what are you guys gonna do? We can say, well, this is what we're gonna do.
Okay. Very well. So,
I
yes,
still had
Ryan.
Not information gathering, but there were things I wanted to do before the summit. I don't know if anyone else had anything they wanted to do specifically, since we have a whole day.
I mean, I don't think I used any of my diamonds, so I think... Yeah, I'm good with diamonds. Continue.
All right, well, then I'm just going to try and speed run this real quick. John, I asked you a question in chat. If you could respond, I would appreciate.
Yeah, so I'm going to say I mean, to that, you're not going to be able to have that done within a day.
Damn it. All right. Never mind then.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Worth asking. All right. Well, then Gideon would like to talk to Yursa at some point when he can catch her.
Yes.
Okay, I was like, maybe not.
Yes.
What's Yursa doing the day before? Like, what is she kind of doing to prep or to relax or getting ready with?
I mean, I would say, like, she would actually probably be in the middle of doing a thing when you would find her. I think she'd probably be, like, outside talking to Sunflower, sending a prayer to Melora, because she doesn't know what's been going on, so she would just be talking to this flower as if she's having a full-on conversation. So yeah.
Given she has a past perception of like 18 or whatever, I think she'd hear someone walking up, but Gideon isn't going to interrupt her conversation since that's like an actual conversation, so he's waiting for her to acknowledge him, basically.
Yeah, she'll just finish and she'll just say, I know things are very difficult right now, but if you could send a message or just to check in to make sure that you're doing okay, that would be wonderful. But no rush, because I very much understand that things are very chaotic right now. Okay, goodbye. Hangs up Flower. She'll turn. Hi, Gideon.
Your son. How did they
like to
take the
sit?
request?
She pats the ground next to her.
He sits.
Well, this one doesn't like to talk much.
I relate.
Yeah. I don't know.
How? I wanted to see how you were feeling after everything that happened yesterday.
I feel much more awake and here, as in present. My mind is a little jumbled and I'm very confused. So I thought I'd ask Melora, but I think she's very busy right now with everything going on.
I'd take a... Sorry, keep going.
No, you go ahead.
I'm assuming you're confused about what happened yesterday.
Yes. I don't like not knowing, as you know, everyone wouldn't, not knowing what I'm doing when I do it. That was a very intense and special gift to be able to do something like that. And I would like to thank Melora for giving me the opportunity to do that, save people, and to temporarily at least bring about some sort of peace. And maybe an explanation as to why I was able to do it. I don't know.
It's understandable. I'm concerned too. You have incredible power. And we've seen magic where people are altered or they're taken control of, but you're normally able to resist those magics better than most people. The fact that your actions were not your own and you don't even remember it is concerning to me.
I agree. That's not really happened before. And I think that's why my mind is very... She makes a swirling motion with her hands.
The magic you cast was beyond anything I've ever seen. That sort of ice, it's not like anything in the 9 circles we know of.
It's not just ice.
It's certainly not just ice, no. To be strong enough to hold back a rift but not destroy it. No signs of weakness, no signs of thaw. No, that was nature magic of the highest order I've ever seen.
See,
Ever heard of.
I have this theory that because we were so close to Fae, the Feywild, and all of these things were coming out, I think Melora knew that we needed something. And maybe she was just thinking this would be a good temporary solution. And with, the veils thinning, not wanting to sever something, gave me some of her gifts to do that. Which is why I wanted to thank her, but she doesn't seem to be answering.
I'm sure she can hear you, even if she's not able to respond right now.
Well, it'd be nice to have those gifts again when we see Demogorgon. But I don't know if it would extend that. I don't know. I don't know the extent of her reach.
Nor do I. I would only urge caution if you feel something like that happening again.
Yeah. It was very much Melora, right? I could... It wouldn't be anything else.
I can only hypothesize, really, Ursa. There's been many things, strange things happening between you and Melora lately. And I don't mean that as an insult, but I've seen that even you've been raising an eyebrow and asking questions. Something's different, isn't it?
Yes. When we were speaking to... When Gak was speaking to the Avatar of Ioun, it was the second time where someone had referred to me as Melora. And I thought before it was just, a very odd coincidence and a charade to be played. But this last time, the Avatar spoke to me directly and referred to me as the Wild. Very strange. And I spoke with Gak, and I don't know, maybe this is another gift that I've been given, and I would like to thank Melora for that. But I would also like to be aware of gifts before they're given, especially a gift of this magnitude. If that makes sense.
It does. My only concern, and perhaps I'm thinking too much as I'm prone to do, there have been powerful beings, and even one devoted to Melora, misguided, yes, but devoted all the same, who mistook you for her. I don't know, to recognize Melora's magic is one thing, but this just feels like something else. And I'm just not sure what it points to exactly.
Do you have a hypothesis?
I have guesses, but nothing with any backing. It's all just speculation.
Yes, but you're one of the smartest people to ever exist. So I want your best guess. Because I trust you.
if something bad has happened to Melora, right now, as far as I'm aware, you are her strongest, most loyal, devoted follower. It's possible that perhaps the most of what remains of her is you.
That's a fun guess. But I don't think that's right. I would know that.
Would you?
I would feel it. I've always felt very close to Malone. And I would feel if something happened, right?
We're in uncharted territory, bless you. We're in uncharted territory here, Yursa. I may be one of the smartest people you've ever met, but I'm still learning things every day the further we go on this journey. Even me venturing into the astral sea and feeling this connection to not only what lived there, but the magic, the very essence of what made that entire world exist. I'm not so quick to make judgments about what is and isn't possible anymore. I've seen too many things now.
You see, she kind of messes up her face for a second. I would like to think if that was true, I don't know, that's just too much responsibility. I don't feel as deserve such a responsibility. But I'm proud of you, though. And I'm very happy to hear you say that. I think that you've grown so Gideon, and you've grown in so many ways. And you are the smartest person I know. But you're so smart that you have the wisdom to know that you're never done learning. And it's nice to see that you've realized you never really know. You never really know anything.
No, you really don't. And you can see a bit of a look of guilt on Gideon's face as he's clearly thinking about something and hesitating. There's one other thing we need to discuss, Yursa.
Okay.
I know what your feelings are on this subject, and I felt it was only fair to tell you mine. When we go after the Kraken next, I'm sorry, I can't try and save it.
Thank you for telling me that. Puts a hand on his shoulder. But I don't think I want to try and save it either. Because
Yeah.
here's the thing. I have learned as well. We can't save everyone, no matter how hard we. And the reality is that creature. I don't ever want to believe that there is a past the point of saving. But there is a level of corruption that can happen that transforms the soul into something no longer was before. That creature was pulled from its home. It was twisted, mangled, and yes, corrupted into something entirely different. If we were facing this creature where it came from, in its own home, I would feel very differently, but this is no longer the kraken of the water plane. This is a creature of the Demogorgon. Will my heart hurt? A little. For what I know, what it used to be. But sadly, it is not that anymore. And you taught me that. So thank you.
I just want us all to walk away from this.
Me too.
Well, sorry to interrupt your looking over to the other flowers group chat.
Oh, it's okay. You're welcome anytime.
Is it okay if I just sit here a while?
Absolutely. I'm going to make you a daisy chain. And she starts. I'm so sorry. And she picks one of the flowers and she starts making a little necklace.
Gideon now feels uncomfortable with that, but
Just decapitating these flowers.
yeah, sorry,
I
murder
made this
starts.
for you.
So, two of you sit there and converse a little longer. Gideon, as you're just sitting there, you do notice, and you have a high enough perception, but you're kind of like into the crafts that you are creating. Gideon, the grass around Yursa grows a little bit quicker than it normally ever would. Just passively. The stem of the flowers that she picked off, Yursa can bring them back almost instantaneously, but she's not trying to in this moment. But they're growing rapidly. You can see plants growing in real time right now around her.
And she can see that too, or she hasn't noticed it?
I would say, Yursa, you have not noticed it just because you've been kind of intertwined with what you're doing, and it's not unlike plants to not to grow around Yursa anyways. This is just a little bit different.
She's locked into her craft. When she crafts, she crafts, baby.
Just something you observe.
Yeah, I think given the whole conversation, Gideon notices it, but he doesn't say anything because, again, it's still all just speculation.
Okay. So, the day goes on. If there's nothing else for anybody, the next morning, the sun rises. All of you gather your things, ready your armor, tighten your boots, and you hear a knock at the door. As you open the door, in front of you is Queen Erin Yenfina. She looks to everyone and goes, Is everyone ready? And you can see that she is nervous.
We are.
I'll be here with you.
Good. I don't think I've been queen for quite some time. This is my first summit. How do I look? And you can see that she kind of bolsters around. She's wearing deep emerald greens with gold filigree leaves and vines throughout it, and her hair is pulled back into a beautiful braid. She kind of just like shows it off a little bit. Is this too much?
You look like a woman whose opinions need to be heard.
Good. Good. All right. Follow me. And you all follow her through the halls of the Emerald Castle, down a set of stairs, further down, until you reach this area. As soon as you walk in, it is dark and these torches light up around, and you see a small teleportation, almost, circle on the ground. Rian, if you could, before we step through.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and just in with everybody in the room, he will divine sense.
Okay. Everyone here is the party, including the queen, including Lucian and a couple of his guards. The red mask is not there.
Okay.
You do not sense any
Good.
fiends, celestials, or undead.
All right. Everyone here is clear.
Good. And I sent word to everyone else, so fingers crossed.
Rihanna's going to think to himself, hopefully none of these people are Mephisto. That would suck. But he's going to keep that to himself.
Mephisto behind you. Hello, Rian. No.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Who is that? I don't know.
All of you step through, and the first thing that hits you is the air, the wind whipping past your face. Then followed by this fresh scent of grass and forest and almost mildew. Beneath your feet is solid stone. As you look around at the scenery, you are on a large circular plateau with a number of these raised platforms that house these braziers that are lit. In the center is a single stone table. No chairs, just a table and a plateau of stone. Beneath you see the insignia of Isvaria and the teleportation rune. And around you are mountains, a river running through them, covered in green, beautiful blue sky and clouds, and a sun setting in the distance as you arrive at the summit. It is shortly after that you see another rune light up. The insignia of Ciri. And stepping through this portal, you see a number of guards adorned in gold and blue and black, full head-to-toe armor, spears, and accompanying them is a tan-skinned individual with very, very freshly groomed beard, long, slicked-back brown hair, and robes that almost speak to the magic that is housed inside of these robes, but the nobility and his station. As you see Emperor Nazim Al-Jalion, as he looks to everyone and kind of bows. quickly after, you see the insignia of Dagram light up. And you can see that the queen kind of shudders just a tiny bit as stepping through are guards, king's guards, dwarves. You see in full obsidian and almost tinted orange plate armor. You can see these almost like Spartan-like, I guess they're like broom bristles that go from the head, from the front to the back, of orange and black stripes. And you see an individual with a long white beard, with long white hair, adorned in orange and gold armor, a scar across one of his eyes. You see King Hulfric Stormfall, King of Dagram. As they step forward, you see that the King of Dagram is just staring daggers at Lucian. Lucian takes his place at the table. The Queen takes her place. Dagram and Ciri. The four kingdoms of the world in one place that have not been together in over a century, if not more. You all stand close behind the Queen of Isvaria, where the guards of each individual kingdom stand. And then the Queen kind of steps up and speaks. Esteemed leaders, I greet you all. King Hulfric Stormfall, Lucian Ironwood, and Emperor Nazir Algelian. Thank you for coming. And before we proceed, allow me to introduce the Seekers of Insomnia, my trusted counsel. They've proven themselves invaluable in our struggles, and I believe will be key advisors in this discussion. You see that her tone kind of changes as she says, we face a threat unlike any other. A threat not of this world, and a threat determined to ensure chaos and destruction. The Demogorgon has shattered the peace of our lands and threatened the very fabric of our existence. As some of you know, the situation is dire and war is already upon us. We must act, set aside our differences, and unite against this common foe. Brian, how long does a divine sense last?
It is just instantaneous. I believe when you're wearing this until the end of your next day. Yeah, it's just 6 seconds. So I mean, as soon as we would have entered, he would have pinged it again since it's 60 feet.
Okay. You get no celestial fiends or undead.
Okay. As
It
the queen
seems like-
kind of finishes her sentence, she'll just look to her and nod.
You see that King Hulfric, just looking around, you can see that he's been gritting his teeth the entire time that the queen has been speaking, not towards her, but looking at Lucian. As she kind of finishes that up, he slams on the table and says, unite with Valamine. After what they've done to us, after they took our land, spilled our blood for a century, and now they come crying for our help when their own capital lies in ruins. Perhaps they deserve what they got. Perhaps they will finally feel what true suffering is. There's nothing to unite. Dagram will defend our home, provide assistance if needed to Isvaria, and that is it. Do not expect us to shed tears for Valamine. Just staring directly at Lucian. As Lucian speaks up and says, King Ulfric, I understand your anger. The destruction of our capital by this abyssal threat is a wound that will never heal. Our king has fallen and our people are devastated. Millions of Valaminians lie dead. I know we have bad history among our two kingdoms, but we both know that our kingdoms started that war equally. Let us not forget the countless lives lost in the Dagram's aggression during the war. Your people are not the only ones who suffered. Whatever our past is, we cannot defeat the Demogorgon without your aid. Please, for the sake of our people, set aside your hatred and stand with us just this once. And you can see that this whole time, Emperor Nazir is just kind of looking and a little bit of a smile, almost like this is entertainment. As he's just looking around, you see Queen Erin Yanfina raises her hands and says, "Please, we must not fight among ourselves. This does not help any of our people, and this is exactly what Demogorgon wants. Our strength lies in our unity. We must find a way to work together." And you see that Hulfric narrows his eyes and says, "You speak of unity, Queen Erin, and no disrespect, but you have not suffered as we have. Valamine was the one who took our land and slaughtered our people. And now they seek our aid? Dagram will not forget the blood that's been spilled, and we refuse to help these colonizers." And you see Lucian just respond in this sharp tone. "And what of the blood Dagram spilled on our land? Do you think that we forget the villages burned, the innocent slaughtered? Both our people have suffered. I don't stand here."
Can I say something?
They look towards you, and you see Queen Erin just looks towards you and just like, "Oh shit."
Hi, my name is Yrsa Moonglade. I am from Lunaria. You may or may not know where that is, but those of you in the Valamine Empire, I'm sure you certainly know where that is. I would just like to say, for a very long time, the Valamine Empire raided my land and kept myself and many of my friends and family prisoner for a very long time. I was kept in a very dark place, hidden very, very far beneath the earth, and I was drained for all of my power, and all of our magic was actually siphoned. But I'm still here, and I'm still fighting to unite everybody. That was a very, very hard apology to accept. But I have grown to forgive. And I have grown to understand that I should not place the blame and actions of select individuals on an entire nation.
You see Lucian looks towards you. "And I apologize for the transgressions that Valamine has dealt upon you. Sincerely." And he looks back towards Hulfric. "See, we need unity. We need to forget our past and make amends and set aside our grudges if we want hope for survival." And you just hear King Hulfric just, "Amends? What could possibly make amends for a century of war and loss? I'm sorry, Yrsa, but words and sentiments won't erase the scars that you left on Dagram. On my people. Your city fell, yes, and it pains me, and I am sorry for all those innocent people that lost their lives. But it does not compare to the suffering we endured, and I will not stand here and place my people's backs to the edges of your knives again. Dagram is more capable of defending itself against this threat, and we already are now. I can't undo the past, King Hulfric. But for the sake of the generations in front of us, we must do this. We must set aside this hatred. Yes, you can defend yourself. We know the might of Dagram. There are too many. Even your soldiers will be overrun, and your armies will be crippled if we do not work together. I can offer you our cooperation, our resources, our lives in a fight against this thing. Just please, let us work together and stop this menace before it consumes all of us." And you see Queen speak up and say, "King Hulfric, I understand your pain. The wounds of the past run deep, but I have to agree with Lucian. If we do not unite now, there will be no future for any of our kingdoms. The Demogorgon will not stop with Valamine, Isvaria, Dagram, even Citra. We will all fall if we do not stand together." And you see for the first time that the Emperor in his ear speaks up and says, Ulfric has every right to be angry and forfeit cooperation. What Valamine did to the Dagram Empire all those years ago was more than a tragedy. However, I do not have time to sit here and listen to the bickering, no matter how entertaining it is. My own lands are under siege by these abyssal creatures. While I have an entire continent to protect, I recognize that our strengths lie in unity and that we cannot face this threat divided. However, I will observe and weigh my options carefully. Citra can offer aid, but I must see a genuine effort to put aside grievances and work together. And you see that. Yes.
All right, Ryan has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, like on a cultural level, like what is important to Dagram, if that makes sense?
I mean, since you've known it, honestly, it's been kind of just to be left alone. Culturally, they're inventors. They've created airships. They have always wanted to stop this tension between Valamine. But there has been no end because Valamine has never stopped the tension between them. So it's almost been this Cold War for the past 50 years after the 100-year war that happened. And that is the history. There was a war that lasted 100 years between Valamine and Dagram. And Valamine was not as big as it is now and took a lot of Dagram's land from it. But that's kind of they want to be secluded and not have to deal with this anymore, basically.
How long ago did the 100-Year War end?
50 years ago.
Okay, so King Ulfric there lived through the 100-Year War, like for sure, right?
Yeah, and for sure, maybe the Hand of the King was there near the tail end. He looks to be like in his early 70s-ish. So he was maybe around 18 or 20 when the 100-Year War was ending. But you know that dwarves live a long time, and you can tell that this is an old dwarf, so he's probably been around for a couple 100 years.
And dwarves are culturally stubborn and hold grudges.
And prideful.
Yes. Okay.
At this point, as Emperor Nazir kind of finishes up Ulfric's, you see his expression kind of hardens. Says, "I've had enough. Dagram will defend itself and lend aid to Isvaria."
Excuse me. Excuse me. Respectfully, this isn't about you. This is bigger than you. This is bigger than me, my group, everybody here. Now we can sit here and we can argue about war that happened years ago and our anger against each other, and we can argue about who was right and wrong, but the reason we are all here right now is because there's something horrible happening that's going to affect your people, our people, all of our families. Now we're here because we are people who can do something about this. Are we supposed to just sit here yelling at each other while we watch the rest of the world burn our family? Are we not going to agree just because something happened a long time ago? And I understand it was a terrible thing. But don't we need to strive for progress? What we're supposed to do as people who are put in charge? Are we supposed to just wallow in the past and keep us there? Are we never going to have unity because we're angry? How are we supposed to make things better? How are we supposed to make sure that we have a tomorrow if we do not let go of yesterday? It is a now or never thing. And I'm so sorry that your people had to go through that, and I'm so sorry that we all have to go through something. But we've lost people too. We've all lost someone. We've all been wronged. I've been wronged so many times. But I'm not going to be a better person if I don't let it go. I be a better person because I decide to be. I do what it takes to make things better. And that's why we're here. You're in your position because you're strong and you love your people. We're in our position because we're strong and we love our people. But we're also here because we love your people too. We want to help them too. And we're asking for you to extend your love to everybody too. Because there may not be an everybody if we keep this hanging like this.
You see that there's a very angry expression on Hulfric's face. And this kind of silence goes over the group. And Queen Erin speaks up and says, I think that we should take a small recess. I think that tensions are high, and we should think. Let's reconvene in 10 minutes' time. Everyone converse with who they need to. Weigh the options, although there are not many. We will reconvene this session in 10 minutes. Please. We need to resolve this. And Emperor Nazir says, I agree. Recess. And you see that King Hulfric kind of scoffs and walks off to his section. And you see that everyone kind of walks to their section as the queen walks over and goes, this was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. Thank you. Looking to Yrsa and Basil.
We have your back. And I know we came... Basil looks to Yrsa and like grabs her hand. I know we came at it with different angles, but we want you to know that we'll still fight for you, for our people and theirs.
Sometimes I think it just takes two very different tones to get something across, but at the same time, I suppose I'm just confused as to where the stubbornness is coming from.
Sorry.
I was going to say, with respect, it lingers on ignorance. And I would hate to see more lives lost because of something so small.
It's pride. Pride is what at least holds Hulfric back. I hope he can come to his senses. He's not in the wrong. What Valamine did to the Dagenham Empire is immeasurable, but we don't have time for this.
When we return, I can speak on pride.
Does he look like still kind of set in the same demeanor, or does it look like he's kind of like we're breaking him a little bit?
Make an insight check.
Okay.
Gotta have one roll tonight. 17. As he's conversing with, it seems like he has some of his council members. You can see that they're conversing with him, and his demeanor goes from just pure anger to this almost slightly relaxed expression as he's just kind of nodding his head and listening to his advisors. And you don't see what he's saying, but he's definitely he's contemplating.
Okay. Well, we are under his little fingernails. So now we just gotta shove our way in. And rip him to pieces.
Right.
No,
He's-
solid plan.
You see that Lucian is sitting over there. He has no council members. It's just him and his 2 guards, just sitting over there, just kind of his hands looking around, this face of worry. And you see the Emperor of Syria just kind of talking to one of his advisors, and you see there.
I was just
go
going
ahead.
to say, before the recess ends, Rian wants to go over to the Hand of the King.
Okay. Those with a higher perception would see that Emperor Nazir raises an eyebrow, and you see this expression. He's had an expression of just like he knows who he is, and he knows that he'll be able to handle his whole continent, and that he is the Emperor of Syria, right? There's this aura of pompousness to him, but you see his expression change to almost worry, in a sense, after this conversation with one of his advisors. But Rian, you walk over to Lucian, who's sitting down, and he sees you walk over, and he gets up and nods and says, "How can I help?"
I just have a few questions for you, and I know you might not have the answers considering how fractured Valamine is right now, but between the capital city, which is fully gone, right?
Yes.
And Theristir. Between Theristir and Newald Ambafort, how much of Valamine is unaffected? How many people do you think? Your best guess.
The ones that are further back into the territory that is closest to Isvari and Dagrim are going to be the least affected. Overall, maybe close to 1 million. The capital city in Theristir were the majority of our population. Everywhere else was farmlands and small towns. Everything else is, as of now, as I've heard, not affected yet.
And what land did Dagrim own before the 100-Year War?
Everything up to the Razor Peaks. Which, for everyone who's not looking at the map, is about more than 50% of the Valamine Empire.
So even down south by Wodale, that wasn't like East
So,
Florida.
so here I can draw a little map. So Dagrim used to own all of this.
Wow. Listen, I get it.
Oh, sorry, that's incorrect.
Oh.
Wait. Well, it's I couldn't see the Isvarian border, so it's.
I was like, damn, no wonder they're mad.
Sorry. All of that.
Still.
Nah, I'd still be pissed. Listen, I get it. I get it.
And even the White Cross Mountains too. I thought they were their own kind of independent people.
No, they used to own the White Crest Mountains. That's why there was a forge that you learned about there.
It's just various people in particular that are hidden up there that people don't know about, right?
Correct.
But they still think they just own the mountain range.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Little goofy goobers.
But you don't know when Sangsa settled.
Yeah.
Also, you don't know how long it's been there, and you don't know how long Dagram used to own that land.
Fair.
I'm not saying that you'll have to, and I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But if things go poorly, and what I plan to say does not move them, you have a very important decision to make. Do you either try to cling on to the land that your people stole many years ago, even if it means the end of everything, or, as a final Hail Mary, do you choose to give it back to Dagram in an effort to save the fraction of your population that remains? You are the ruler of Valamine now. It's your decision to make. I do not envy you. But if things don't get better in this meeting, that's the only option left. Do what you think is right, but you can't
all those
bring
people on
back.
the land.
Yeah. Yeah. But they'll die
Dagram.
if the Demogorgon wins.
But what will Dagram do to them?
There can be something, I'm sure, negotiated to allow them to move off that land, or to be integrated into the population. Dagram's problem isn't with the farmers. It's with the idea of Valamine that has oppressed them, that's pushed them away, that took their land from them. Like I said, it may not come to that. But if it does, it's something you need to consider. And I truly hope that if it does come to that, you make the decision that's best for all people. Not just a few in Valamine that profit from that land that was stolen. And
Brienne,
Brienne will walk away.
make a persuasion check with advantage.
Ooh, wah, wah, wah. Okay. Persuasion. Uno. Okay, 23 on the first one, and with advantage, 21, so 23.
You walk away and you can tell that your words affected Lucian. There's a bubble.
Okay.
It says Lucian will remember this.
Hell yeah, dude. Okay.
There's still a little bit more time. You can see that that Halfric has finished speaking with his advisors and kind of walked off a little bit and walked off the path by himself, just kind of looking around and looking off into like the mountains and just contemplating. Then you can see that Emperor Nazir, there is definite worry in his face. After the 10 minutes, Queen Erin Yanfina walks up and says, "Let the session commence." As the leaders walk back up, as Hulfric looks around and looks towards Lucian and eyes narrowed. We need to come to a resolution. And I will be very upfront with all of you. I am not willing to take no for an answer. My people are going to be affected next, after Valamine falls completely. Dagram, you are the furthest away from this threat. that in the capital. I know that you are dealing with the one in the rift in your home. And you see that Halfric looks up and just kind of confused how she knew this information. But we also know that you have a Rift Warden. Someone who can take care of this, and your people are fighting, and we do not want to take your time, even more than we have. We need to unite. We need to come together. And we need to do this now. I mostly agree. I cannot, in good conscience, send my people into Valamine without knowing that their people will not attack them. My people are also sparse, as you said yourself. We're fighting off armies of abyssal creatures that are currently in Thalbadir. I will not forgive Valamine for what they did. My people will not forgive. But if we're going to send my soldiers into Valamine territory to help them, we need something in return. Assurance. And Lucian kind of speaks up and says, what exactly would you want from us? We're willing to do whatever you ask, King. And you see that Halford kind of leans back a little bit. We want our land back. We want the things you stole from us. That's the deal. Agree to give our land back, and we will help. Disagree, and we'll leave Valamine to rot. And you see Lucian kind of... He's definitely put it in this hard spot right now. I have come here with little to no power, no counsel, as they are all dead. The king of Valamine is dead. There is no ruler. I am the only figurehead of power in Valamine currently. I will agree to these terms. The people also must agree. I'm not going to force my people to be a part of the Dagram Empire if they do not want. Then they can leave. They can pack up and leave. Fine. Then they can leave. If we don't act soon, we are going to not have any land to give back. I've recently gotten information about the creatures and how fast they are moving. And the more we speak, the more people die. Not just in Valamine. And he looks to everyone. Everywhere. Everywhere there's one of these tears, these rifts. There are creatures pouring out of them. It's not just us, and you know it. That's why I'm agreeing. But make no mistake, Lucian. one false move, if anyone does anything from the Valamine Empire against Dagram, my forces will pull back and leave yours to die. I will not sacrifice my men for yours. This is to save the world, not to save Valamine. Agreed. There's not much of Valamine left. The Queen says, then we are in agreement. Is there any final requests that want to be made? Place your hands in the center.
Well, doesn't the Citron Emperor, he looks like he's had something to say.
Yeah, I was about to ask that
Yeah.
too. Does he look more relaxed
I was
now that these
waiting
two have come to an
to
agreement, or
say
is he
something
still upset?
until he lightened his load a bit.
He will speak.
Air
But
pressure.
this is not, his information has nothing to do with these negotiations.
Got it. He started something else.
As they place their hands in the center, Dagram and Valamine,
No,
You're not a part of it.
there's
man, I'm just
Gideon
showing
just walked
support.
up.
No.
And
No,
the
it's just-
Astral
it's-
Sea.
No, Gideon, it's just between those four. We're
Oh fuck. Okay.
We're
I
here to
misread the
watch.
room, my bad. Oh damn. No.
So
Bullshit.
there is a magical incantation that is created. And you see almost like a binding contract between the two empires that they will assist one another in the upcoming battles. Now that that is finished, we can start planning an attack, a counteroffensive on Demogorgon and their forces. And you see she looks behind, and one of the guards kind of pulls out a map and lays it down. Now, let's get to planning. And she looks to the party, says, please join us if you could.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We'd be joining.
So,
war map. Ooh.
as they start placing tokens on the war map, you see this. We will get into.
Y'all, I love Risk.
This is
Oh, wow.
exactly what this is.
God, I hate Risk.
It's Risk
Sucks
with
to suck, Rachel. It's a fun
It's-
game.
Risk with less.
I love it.
I will go into more detail with these, but there are still conversations that are going to be had. But if you hover over them, it tells you how many units for each token. As they start planning, Queen Aaron Fina says, our forces, we have about, as I last counted, around 5,750 soldiers ready. 250 of those are the Traitari, horse riders, and Hillgrove. The rest are well-trained soldiers and individuals. The Golden Guard will stay with me, as well as the Golden Company. Should we need them, we will send them, but everyone else we may use. We have the accessibility of great healers. Our archers are the best in the world, and we are pretty good fighters. As we do not have any rifts on our end, we can move in any direction you would like us to. Lucian speaks up and says, as you know, our numbers are dwindled greatly, but we still have Drake Riders that are stationed currently in Artis. They can provide a lot of air superiority and support on the ground forces, should we use them. They can also block off areas and pathways. Other than that, most of it is townsfolk and villagers and some soldiers. as Dagon speaks up and says, well, we have about 4,200 soldiers. Unfortunately, a vast majority of them are in Tholbadir currently fighting the forces of the Demogorgon, so I can't really move them as of now. Should that free up, well, we'll have a lot more to send. Our fighters are the best when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, and as you know, heavily armored. We also have 2 airships that we can transport soldiers, about 500 at a time. And, he looks towards Lucian, we have a network of tunnels throughout all of Valamine that we have not used in quite a long time. But we can traverse under the ground to any city or town in Valamine. Although we have not used them in a long time, so I don't know what's down there. And Lucian goes, you have tunnels under all of Valamine? Yes, under all of Valamine. Even to your capital. Great. That will be useful in the war. And Emperor Nazir speaks up and says, well, we have around 13,600 mages, sorcerers, wizards, soldiers, excellent in anything you would need them to be. However, it would take us a little bit to get to the mainland. However, as I have just heard, our protector of the sea, Shalal, was killed, and their corpse placed on the coast.
No, the turtle.
I do not.
Sorry, this is Caleb. Okay, sorry.
I'm not sure who or what did this, but if there is a creature in the water that could kill Shalal, then our ships will be useless, and I do not want to send my entire fleet on the ocean without knowing that whatever this is killed. Does anyone have any idea what this might be?
It's a kraken, the mother of all krakens, to be specific. It's corrupted by the Demogorgon. It's tied to the elemental plane of water. We can handle it.
As you say, we can handle it. Everyone looks towards you, and like this, the air in the room just goes, what? As they look to you. You can handle. Do you mean the one from the plane of water?
Yes.
He did not tell me about this. And so you know he's talking about the Rift Warden at the Lake of Life in the southern part of Siri. If that is something you can do, then that will free up the ocean. Free up the seas, and I can send my soldiers across to help in the siege of at least the capital of Valamine. We'll be able to hit them from the ocean, and we could possibly get some of our forces on the ground as well. Once that is taken care of, if you tell me, I will start sending my soldiers.
Listen, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I have played thousands of hours of various Total War games and Civilization.
Thank God, because I don't know what the fuck to do.
We have got it.
I'm so glad.
You have no idea. We've got it so good. We've got it so good.
Joe, don't say that out loud. What are you doing? Why are you boasting?
Listen, I'm
right
just
now?
saying, I don't want anybody
He's
to
projecting.
worry.
I respect it.
I don't want anybody to worry because we got
literally this map opened and I cried. I don't.
Because listen, no,
I'm Joe here. Look at this risk map. Like we're fucking winning already.
Listen. I will be stressed no matter what because I don't understand.
Yes, Rachel.
So,
yes. Give me your hand.
What I will say,
I grasp yours, Caleb.
Squeeze.
We are going to, right here, right in this moment, right here. We are going to take our break, and when we come back, I will give you the rules of Evrand Risk, I guess, and we will start the process of planning the war against the Demogorgon. which should be fun, maybe, possibly. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be a really, really shitty section. But, you know, we'll be back.
I think that some of us will like it a lot.
We'll be back at, let's be back at 30. Everyone's time.
All right.
To finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay, I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage.
Where? Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now is left to me to deal with him. You can't. If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth. parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies until finally one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5, Blighted Warden.
In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spores' eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side.
So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is 1 town, 1 place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay, I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Where? Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now is left to me to deal with him. You can't. If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5, Blighted Warden.
In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spores' eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side.
So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay, I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices.
Boop, 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 boop. We're back.
Let's dive right back into it. We're playing D&D Risk. Okay, so I know earlier in the session you guys were talking about what you're going to do right after this. However, this is how this whole thing is going to work. This battle map is also going to be the way this kind of war pans out until you guys get to the capital, which is when you guys can fight in the capital and do the very final thing of this campaign. However, there are tasks in between there. On your screen, you see the four factions. Dagram being orange, Valamine being red, Isvaria green. Oh, 5 factions, sorry. Purple being Demogorgon, and blue over here in Ciri being Ciri. If you hover over these tokens, each one has a number. That is how many soldiers or units are in that specific spot. Okay? And stop me if you need to ask questions. But this is a little bit. Yes?
How come Ciri doesn't have numbers?
They do.
No.
Oh wait. Oh, you know why?
Well.
Because
Try
it's
to make
hovered
me look
by,
like a fool.
hovered by owner, not hovered by anyone.
There we go.
There they are.
There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So, this moving of pieces will happen over days. And probably the whole point of this is there's going to be a couple months of, we're going to say, downtime. But not true downtime. You guys aren't going to be, having talkie talks and, going off on, adventures. This whole couple next months in campaign is a war against Demogorgon's forces. You guys can move these pieces. It'll be in like a day increment. Think of like Super Mario. You know how on Super Mario maps you can kind of slide across to the next town or whatever. If they're connected, a unit can move there. You can move a unit once per day. Right? So it's a round, but a day. Right? Does that make sense so far?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are special abilities for one special ability per type of unit, but we'll get there in a second. The main things are, and I posted them in the chat, that these are the rules. Pending, do they not make sense? You can move a unit to a nearby town or city, just like Super Mario, once per round, once per day. If you move a unit or a group of units that has double the number of the enemy, they win. So if there's a 100 enemy and you move a 200 ally, you automatically win. You don't lose anybody because of overwhelming numbers. If a unit has more than the enemy unit that they're attacking, your ally unit loses that many that the enemy has. So if you have a 300 unit and you move it into a 200, you lose 200 people but still keep 100. But you take that area. Make sense so far? We still on board? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 3 more rules.
Perfect.
No, 2 more. I lied.
Ooh. Even better.
If you move a unit with the same amount into a spot, then you roll. D20. The higher number of the 2 wins. They don't lose units. If a unit is escorted by the party and that enemy unit does not have double the unit you have, they automatically win. So if you guys are with a unit and the enemy unit does not have double of what you have, you automatically win. You lose no units because they're with gods. Well, I think that's it, right? If a unit has more than the enemy unit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's it. Units can be on the same spot. Now, yes, question, Nick, go ahead.
My question is, you said if a unit's escorted by the party, what if the party were to split up?
I'm gonna say we can have the party split up in scenarios. I'll say it'll grant that unit. Man,
just like better odds then, I guess. Instead, like maybe not double forces, like a 150% or something. I don't know.
I think there's a it's not an auto win if you guys split the party. But it is if you have more units than the enemy unit, then I guess you'll auto win. Yeah, we'll just say if a party member's with them, that's fine. They auto win. If the enemy's units are not double what your current unit count is. Is that okay? Yeah. That might pending because that might get a little crazy. There are 6 of you.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyone have any opinions on that of what we should do?
I think what's fair is you can't split the party more than half because then it's like, it doesn't matter how powerful one person is. Like if a 500 demons swarm you, I think advantage
so you can have
on the D20 roll is probably fair.
Okay. If they have the same amount of units and there's a party member advantage, no, we'll just have it auto win. If you're with, you cannot split the party into more than 2 groups. We'll do that. And if a party member is with a unit, they automatically win.
Nice.
Unless the enemy forces are doubled. And then it's a D20 roll. Questions on those rules?
I do have a question when it comes to moving units that aren't at a city. So like there are these ones that are at these towers along the border. What counts as one movement for them? Are they just at the closest city?
Yeah, they can move to the closest unit in the vicinity. So like this guy can move here. This guy can move here.
Okay. And
this guy can move here or here.
And it's following the road, right? So like Hillgrove couldn't go to Woolbrook
Correct.
Through the
You have to
forest.
follow the road.
Okay.
This makes sense to everyone else?
Yeah. I think so.
What about the Dagger Empire and their airships? Do they get any advantage for moving at that point?
So, there are special abilities, and I'll bring up the airships. East Varia units. They're basically archers in this, so they can attack a unit from 1 away. They don't have to be on the same unit spot to attack them. So, say East Varia is here, they can attack this one. Make sense? They deal the amount of damage equal to their unit count. And it only affects 1 per token. So if this 250 was here, they would deal 250 to this. Cool.
Okay.
Dagram. If their unit is on the same space as an enemy, they lose no units in battle if the enemy has equal or less units than them. They auto win, no roll. Because they're heavily armored dwarves who fight really good. So they just auto win melee combat if there's the exact amount or less. Cool. Valamine. If there is more than 1 Valamine unit on a space, so like if this guy was also here. If there's more than 1 Valamine unit in the same space as an enemy unit with less than double the amount of the combined, the enemy unit cannot move onto that space. They cannot attack that space. So if they have more or the equal amount of the enemy unit, they can't move because they're Drake Riders who can cut off routes and spray fire and all this stuff. It kind of stops them from moving. Or at least they can't move. Sorry, they can't move on that turn. So you could then put another unit here and stop them from moving again. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Siri has 2. Siri units can attack from the ocean. So if they're here, they can attack this from the ocean and deal half the amount of units they currently have to the unit they're attacking. If they are on land, they can deal damage to enemies that are 2 enemies within 1 space of each other. So they could deal damage to this one and this one.
Oh, wow.
Because of their magic casters.
Oh.
And they'll deal half amount of the damage of the units.
Nice.
Now, the only other caveat, well, there's 2 caveats. Demogorgon's forces, where there's a rift, every 3 rounds will generate another unit of at least 500 until those rifts are closed.
Okay.
If a unit is fighting on a rift, they cannot leave until that rift is closed. So that means that this unit right here cannot move until that rift is closed.
Can you mark the rifts on this map?
I think it's just the purple
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's the purple stuff around these things.
Okay.
I do have a Demogorgon unit on all of the rifts,
Okay, yeah. It's just a little see.
except for Lunaria. Lunaria doesn't have one because that rift is closed, technically. Now, Dagram, their airships, will be able to move up to 500 units, 500 person unit, to another space on the same turn. You can do that twice in a round. So they have 2 airships. So if you want to move Eastvaria here, you can choose to use your airship to then move Eastvaria here in the same round.
Okay. And we are assuming that we are the only people, because of Yursa, who can close rifts.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, I will go into. I know this is super rules heavy right now, guys, and I hope we're okay with this. Let me type this out so we don't forget it. Are we good so far?
Yeah, my only follow-up question is, these units, can we, like, choose to, like, split them? Like, say there's this one here that's 800, can we split them into 2 400s? Okay.
Yes, you can.
Okay, perfect.
Now, during these months of combat, this is where we'll actually have the party will be actually doing something. There are things that you can choose to do during these months. So first, we're gonna kind of like play the game of Risk a little bit, and then next week we'll pick up on one of the tasks you choose to do. These are the tasks. So, lend aid to Thalbadir to close the rift to Mechanus and stop the Abyssal forces from pouring out. Escort any forces. You auto-win spaces, I already said this. Kill the Kraken to allow the Citron forces to be able to traverse the ocean. Clear and close the rift in Crest Basin to stop the forces of Demogorgon from taking over that section of the map. And clear and close the rift in Songsa. I don't expect you guys to choose those currently right now in this time. So we'll play this a little bit, and then you guys can take the week to figure out what tasks you actually want to do. And if you guys want to say the tasks you want to do during this thing, we'll go ahead and note that down, and then we'll we'll have a session dedicated to it. So it's basically this entire war of you guys fighting this war without having a bunch of sessions of you guys, you know, fighting a bunch of things, because you guys are going to win a lot of these combats as yourselves, you know.
Cool.
Are we good?
Okay. Yes.
That was a lot.
So I was just about to send my thing in our little chat, but I'll go through it here.
But did you see what Nick said?
Yeah, because I was responding to that.
Sorry, John. We're talking in our no god chat.
That's okay.
So
this is a lot of stuff.
I think that Nick, you and I had the same idea, just different ways to do it. So this sort of like this phase 1 idea that I had only involves closing only involves 2 victories with Crest Basin and Sangsa, but that's kind of like one place where, like, if we don't do them immediately, we're kind of exposed on a flank where they can just keep spawning 500 at a time. And if we don't go to those first, we kind of leave ourselves open when we want to get to Valamine anyway.
And it's every 3 rounds, John, that they spawn?
Yes, every 3.
And you said at minimum they're 500, so they could potentially be 500. More.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, I will say, this is also incorporating the port glass and everything you guys have. Like, you're not just teleporting to places that you've never been. So you can't go to places that you haven't been before. And, I mean, I know you've been to Crest Basin, so you could transfer via plans there. Yeah. But just throwing that out there, you'll have to also move. Actually, I need to put you guys on the map. I'm going to use... Do I have a party token? Oh, I do. Sick.
Oh, nice. The quest is there.
Okay, so you guys will start in Aelden.
Nice.
And I'll put you. And this will be. So I guess before we start, oh, shit. I'll have everyone just kind of roll for each unit. So let's go with Joe. Go ahead and roll for Isvaria for their initiative. Just a D20.
And also, real quick, Joe, I want you to continue what you were saying. I interrupted you to ask the question for you.
Oh, no, you're good. Isvaria 10 plus whatever they...
It's just a D20.
Okay, all right.
If you were saying something, sorry.
Okay. So what I have here first is there's a lot of movement to take Crest Basin and Sangsa, which we'd need to get there to close those rifts, so that way they don't spawn anymore. But I will say after that, I think that the units, the numbers game, I think that we've kind of got in our favor in Ephira. And I think what we should prioritize is killing the 2 creatures that Demogorgon's siphoning power from in Ciri. After we close those 2 rifts. That's kind of where my brain was at. But we can circle back to that. So in terms of units, what I have, and I'll post these. Let me do...
I do have the numbers.
Okay. So
If
some
you
of
want me
these
to post those.
that I just posted, and I'll post these in the...
Also, Rachel, go ahead and roll a D20 for Dagram. And then Ryan, go ahead and roll for Ciri. And then Kayla, roll for Valamine. And then Nick, roll for Demogorgon.
12 for Dagger.
15 for Ciri.
Demogorgon 10.
Ha!
Is it making that noise every time?
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
So, Joe, I like the idea. I think for me, in terms of like the other tasks for us to do, my least priority is the Rift and Thelbadir, for
Same.
the reason that I put in the chat, which is if we stack up Dagrim people there, when they spawn, the Dagrim people, if there's enough of them, will just auto win.
Yeah. Well, because right now in Thurbadir, there's 2,200.
Yeah, I mean...
And that means every single turn they're going to knock out those 500, and then they, you know... I mean, there could be a chance that one spawns that's 2,300.
And if that's the case, they still...
Win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, wait, they don't still win.
But they don't auto-win.
They roll at that point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So here's my idea. Now, some of these will need to be changed and passed down over other turns because this was just where my brain was going. So a V stands for Valamine, D stands for Dagrim, E stands for Eastvaria. Yeah. Ciri can kind of stay over there until we go to attack Valamine because there's not really a good port of entry for them. Because if they go to Eldon, it's just that take way too long to get around. And I don't want them to be out in the water where there's 10,000, because I have a feeling Demogorgon's forces can, like not Davy Jones's, but the Black Pearl pirates, they can just go on the ocean floor or some shit. Okay, so initially we send 800 from Artis to the basin. And then 200 from Riffolk to the basin, which leads to 1,000, which means auto win. Yeah.
Question. So, in terms of movement and combat, like, does the order we pick people to move in matter, or is it just, okay, it's our turn to move, and then once everyone has moved, then the combat starts? I think that's an important differentiation here.
Like magic. Yes.
Sure.
It's move, then combat.
Okay.
But are we moving in the order that we just rolled?
Yeah.
Of initiative? Okay.
Yeah. So first up is the party, technically. Why is it doing that?
Sorry, Joe, keep going. I just wanted to make sure that when we sent those 800, it wasn't like, okay. Getting to 1,000 there works perfectly, so I'm...
Actually, no, it wouldn't... It would be when you move. As soon as you, kind of like chess, if you take your hand off, things happen. So no, it would not be after turn resolved.
Okay, so that might change things.
Okay. All right. So, 800, 200 go to Crest Basin. They combine there to be 1,000. Then, just because Demogorgon before has many rifts have popped up where smaller creatures have come out. So just as a precautionary measure, I said to move 150 right here from the sprawling forest to Artis just to have a garrison. Then this is kind of unnecessary now knowing the rules, so we can kind of scrap it. But I said move 150 from Sprawling Hills to Sangsa. But then immediately afterwards, 500 from Thramunzi and Kilbadir in the airships to Sangsa. So we don't need to do that now. So we can just keep the 150 at Crest Basin.
Is Dagrim in the airships or is Eastvaria?
Dagrim.
Dagrim has the airships that they're providing. So you have 2 airships, which allows you to move a unit again.
So we can make it with any.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We just choose where the airships
But
are.
it's only 500.
Airships is like a passive thing. You just have 2 that you can use.
At any point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they reset every round.
So then that would put 1,000 Dagrim at the White... Well, actually, with Dagrim's passive, if they have more than half, or if they have equal to or more than half, they win?
Equal to or more.
Equal to or more?
Yeah.
So then we only need to send 500 to Sangsa to win.
Unless more come out.
But that would be in 3 turns, right?
Do we know if it's in 3 turns or if it's at the start of this turn and then...
I think seeing how things are going, it might be every turn, guys. I might make it at the start of every round.
I think that's fair.
That's okay. So then we will just have all 1,000 go there to keep a hold on it until we can show up.
Well, I think that's a good idea too, because then once we clear that rift, having 1,000 Dagrams start to move in to help Valamine is not a bad thing.
Yeah. And what I put in the chat, I'll say it for stream and so John hears as well. And I think I mentioned it a little bit, but I do think, especially if they're going to be coming each round, having Dagram units at each rift as soon as they can get there is a good idea to try and be part of that like fight against them as they come out.
Yeah. Because I think with that logic, we should leave the Sangsa Dagram people there, and the first place the party should go to is Crest Basin. Because the Valamine troops, there's only going to be 1,000, so if more than 1,000 show up, then they're in trouble. But if 1,000 show up or more at Sangsa, then, the 1,000 Dagram can handle that a little better. So then I think this is next up on the list, I think was a bit more of a, it's not going to work the way that I wanted to, which is, no, it won't. So I wanted to send, individuals from East Varia because, there are no rifts in East Varia. That one's closed. It's, no longer in the Sunless Marsh one isn't there. So I was thinking of sending the majority of troops from East Varia, excluding Eldon, and only half of what's in Shradina, and then a small garrison in Hillgrove and Newald, but sending almost all of those into Valamine. So what I said was 250 from Hillgrove to Woebrook, but that's not going to work in that turn structure now. Because, well, how many times can we use the ships? Is it just twice? Okay. So they were used to go to Sangsa.
Yeah, you have 2 airships. You can use them for a single unit once per turn.
Okay, awesome. So then that would mean that it would be, let me edit this and then I can repost it. So it would be from Hillgrove to, I guess, Artis then? That would be the one closest to Hillgrove? Or can we take this long road to Rifolk? Or is it just the next closest city?
Next closest city.
Okay. So
I will say this: we're gonna have to start the rounds here.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there were any more that were that could happen this turn. The 2 most important ones were the Crest Basin. Let's see, Newald to Woebrook. Where's Newald at? Oh, wait. Newald to Woebrook? 100 East Varia from Newald to Woebrook. I don't know what I wrote there. Maybe, okay. And then 150 from Wodale to Woebrook. Yeah, that's not going to work either. But my idea was trying to make sure that because if they're going to keep coming out of Valamine, we either need to pull back from Hombafort and Woebrook, or we need to thin out a little more and, fortify those a bit. So it's either we give ground to take it later, or we try our best to hold it.
That's kind of what I was thinking. If we back up so we can combine and then move in stronger.
That'd be nice if the East Varia troops could kind of start to hold that ground, because they can attack further away. So when we push in, we're able to attack kind of from a range, and then slowly creep our way in as we go.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, because if we had some East Varia people in Riffin, which it would take them 2 turns to get there, but from Riffin, they would be able to attack the people in Thirastir.
Yeah. And with Valamine, we could move people from, we could move, just as an example, Rifolk to Woebrook, and then the Demogorgon's forces can't get to Woebrook because of Valamine's features. And if we, oh damn, that's a big brain play right there. If we can just keep cycling them out every turn, you know, where like, let's say that we had, you know, two people in Woebrook and one person in Riffle. We could cycle one out every turn, and they can just move back and forth. So that way we can just hold that position. And
we can do that with. Look at that, Joe. Same brain. Like we can do the same thing down here. So.
With I guess either Riffin and Hombefort or Wodale and Riffin. Personally, I don't want to see anything bad happen to Hombefort because I invested a lot of money in that town, but I can understand a world's ending, so...
I mean, there's 100 dudes there. We gotta pull them back, or we're sentencing them to death.
Yeah, the caveat is if a Demogorgon force hits a town or city without a force on it, or kills a force on it, then that town or city dies. Like it's sacked.
Hey, Joe. John.
Yeah.
My input into this conversation is before all of this happens, can Basil cast Sending to tell Morita what's going on so she can go be safe in our keep?
Morita's already in the keep.
Oh, I thought
because
she went
was
back
there for the
home.
wedding.
Oh, I thought she went
was-
back home.
No,
Okay.
she's mad chilling. She's like, oh my god, this is the best shit. that you have a
Basil's gonna
keep."
be like, stay there, queen.
They
You're
got
not gonna have a
fondue
house
here."
to go back
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my input. Thank you.
Okay, but just to then double check, and then we can get into the turn order, because things are going to change when the Demogorgon's forces start to
Yeah,
move.
we'll need to adapt.
We're okay with addressing Crest Basin and Sangsa first, and then going from there.
Yes.
I think it's the right play because if he's going to get 2 sets of units every turn, then the longer we delay that, it's just going to keep building up, and that's going to become a huge snowball of a problem.
Yeah, I just realized, I think regardless, I think we're going to lose Hombefort and maybe Woebrook right at the start, because Valamine did roll lower on initiative than Demogorgon. So I think Hombefort.
Bye.
Where is East Varia?
On the initiative?
10 right above Demogorgon.
They got 10.
So if they could get to Riffin, or they can't get to Riffin though, they can only get to Wodale unless we gave them an airship. Because if they could get to Riffin, then they'd be able to help Hombefort.
Okay.
How does-
So then what we could do is we could use an airship from Wodale to Hombefort, or from Hombefort to Wodale. It just depends how much ground we want to try and hold.
I personally think the smarter idea is to give up Hombefort. I know we don't want to, like, emotionally, but I think strategically it's just gonna put us a little bit out there just to try and hold that spot.
Yeah, and all the people we got out, right?
Yeah, Dio got all the people out.
So it's just it's a ghost town anyway.
There's Valamine forces there to
except for
to
100
save it.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, fuck them. Go to Wodale.
Okay, so then that means that we can send 500 to Sangsa, and they'll just win because of the Dagrim rules with the airship. And then we can take the 100 in Hombefort and put them in Riffin. Or I guess we could just put them in Wodale.
If we use the airship.
All right.
If we use the airship.
Cutting it off right now. We're starting.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of talking during it anyway.
No, I know, but
Well, I think that's why he wants us to take some action.
Also, we're first. Where do we want to go? We can split. Where are we needed to help Otto
Are we
win?
going to one of the rifts first? Is that what
Yeah.
we discussed?
I mean,
So-
we're all just going to.
I will say this: Ursa has to be at the rift to close it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we could only close one at a time, yeah. But if we still split, then we can ensure a victory somewhere else. So if Ursa and 2 people went to Crest Basin, the other 3 of us could go somewhere else, like Riffin or Woebrook or something like that, to ensure that is held.
Yeah. That's a good point, yeah. So then I think I agree with Nick that Ursa and a couple people go to Crest Basin to close that one, and then the other 3 people go to Woebrook, and
Yeah, I
hold
think
that
that's a good
spot.
call.
All right, I'm gonna put Ursa on the map
Urka.
so that we can see.
Ursa represents the Ursa team, and the party token represents the other team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Queen.
So, where are you going? Where's Ursa going? Crest Basin?
Crest Basin, yeah.
All right. So,
Wait,
Ursa,
before we
you
lock
using-
that in, if they're going straight to Crest Basin, doesn't he said hand off the chess piece? Is it going to be 3 against 500 there?
No, because the
They're not
oh,
there
yeah,
yet.
that's a good point.
Can they Can they hold their action to wait to engage?
I mean, you know what? Valid. Can we wait for a signal that they're attacking and teleport to join in?
I will say this: you have to move the unit, but you can use an airship to move them again. So, you can move Ursa and team to a Valamine spot, and then move Valamine and airship Ursa and team to Crest Basin at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even then, though, we need
Screws
both
things
of
up.
these. Both of these Valamine people need to be in Crest Basin with Ursa in order to defeat them. Because just one isn't enough. Because it has to be
But
half.
I guess I'm a little confused. So, and maybe I'm like asking to simplify it too much. But is there not possibly like an attack round? Because like, are we assuming that after each like move, there's an attack round? Like there's an attack happening everywhere across the map?
It's, I guess the way we'll do it is because we're making a board game basically at the same time. We'll do at the end of turns is when attack actions will happen. So it won't be when you move the pawn immediately. It'll be at the end of a turn is when the 2 forces will fight each other.
End of
If
a
they're in the
turn or
same
end of a
spot.
round?
What do you guys think? Turn around.
Personally, I think it'd be easier to keep track of everything if it was at the end of a whole round, because you could gather your forces, and game plan a lot better, rather than okay, let's send this here, attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it also means that if you're attacking someone or you're getting attacked, you could still move that round and then attack someone else. Like if someone attacked us, then it was our turn and then we move.
Yeah.
So you could technically have 2 attacks if that was the case. I know the Dune board game is honestly kind of like this, and it's everyone has turns and moves and they also have cards and whatever. But then once the round happens, that's when the sandstorm moves and everyone fights at the same time.
I also, just because the way you did it, John, is a lot more like Risk, and if we want to get out of here at a decent hour, we might want to do something different.
Yeah, I think the only again, not a downside, but the only funny part of that is the lower you are on initiative, the better it is, because you can see what everybody else did and then make a decision off that.
Let's do backwards initiative.
Yeah.
I think we should do it per turn. Only because I think if we do it per round, it's going to be we're going to be moving a lot of tokens at a lot of times.
Yeah.
So to keep track of everything on a single round that happened, and then resolve all that stuff, I think per unit's turn is when we should do that. I think that, however, the party should have a hold a hold action to help somebody. So
Yes. My suggestion would be, instead of the party having their own place on the turn order, the party has to partner up with a unit and move with that unit.
That makes
because
a lot of
otherwise,
sense, actually, yeah.
Otherwise, the party will never be at the same place as a unit.
That's actually what Greg just posted in chat. He was like, if it's end of turn rather than end of round, it makes the party basically useless because they can never be involved in a fight. With an ally, the fight would be over before they get there.
So
because they can't initiate a fight themselves because we haven't talked about how that works.
So we just designate a unit as the party's with them.
And we can still use the tokens to show where they're at, though.
Yeah, I'll remove the party, and I'll just say that you can put the party during another unit's turn, just like a passive. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna move this unit. Party's with them. Go.
Okay.
We teleport in right before the fight starts. And
Party can only
attack.
be with a unit once per round, though. You can't move
Yes.
party twice in the same round.
Yeah.
I will keep track of it. I'll type in round 1 and then keep track of where the party goes in that round.
Yeah.
Okay. So Siri is up first then, which they can't do anything because they can't cross the ocean. So it's Dagram's turn.
All right. One airship from 500 from Throbadir to Sangza.
All right. They're
And
going to. Well, we'll auto resolve at the end of the round. But
Are you able to split that?
Yeah, because it's 500, because that's the max on the airship anyway.
Yep, I can indeed do that.
The splitting
Yeah,
makes
only-
it very complicated.
It's
technically,
okay, it's
but yes.
Okay.
Cool.
And then this 2200 stays at Thalbadir.
Yeah, cannot move.
Yeah.
Do we want this 150 and this 1000 to go anywhere, or they could start migrating?
Yeah, I think if
down?
we
I will
do-
say, as I stated before, if there's a unit on a rift and they're currently fighting and it's open, it can't move again. So if you move 1,000 to Kilbadir, that unit's stuck there until the rift is open.
Yes.
Or close.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we want to try to move these like down almost.
Yeah, start to get them to help
To go
hold
around.
what's going on in
So,
Valamine.
This to Dastow?
And then the 1,000 at Kolbadir to Eastgate, yeah.
Ian's Gate, all right.
Eastgate, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's technically this 500 that's not in Thulbadir could also move, right? Like we could
Yes.
move them to Kilbadir. Do we want to
Yeah.
do that, or do we want to add them to the? We don't need 2,700 at the
Yeah,
rift,
that might
right?
be.
But what if we keep them up higher so that if they need to hop over in this area?
That's true with the air shift.
Well,
with the
do
air
we
shift,
just
if they need
do we just
come
want to
over.
move them over there to Crest Basin just that way they move?
That's true. Well, then
Can
they
they do it
can't,
to
but they
Crest
can't move
Basin?
again. So
Well, so this unit right here, it's kind of hard to. That's not at Crest Basin.
Oh.
There's a tower on the wall.
Oh.
So
Well,
they're
then
like
yeah,
right
sure.
next to
Let's
it,
watch
so
them
they
move
can
them.
go there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't want to get them stuck.
Okay.
Yeah. And Crest Basin is the first one we're going, or yours is going to close, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
Thank you,
I'm so
sir.
sorry, guys.
Ram, baby.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
All
strategizing.
right. Is that Dagram?
Do not apologize. They're
That's
popping
it
off.
for
That was funny, Nick.
Dagrum.
I don't know if anyone else heard it, but
I
I
heard
heard
it
it.
too.
Eastvaria is up.
All right.
Well, wait, do the fights resolve now or no?
Where's-
Yeah, we
Oh
got
yeah,
fight.
sorry.
Yeah.
Get them bitches
Boom.
out of here.
I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this over here because they're gonna respawn. But
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Wait,
Dead
wait,
for
wait.
now.
Does the do the dwarf? Well, I guess does Dagram go to Crest Basin or they go to the tower?
The tower.
The tower.
the tower.
The tower.
Not Crest Basin yet.
But this one disappears too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
We're so good, guys.
We are so
okay.
good.
Eastvaria's up.
Okay.
So
So the party was on this, or putting them with this Isparia token? No,
That's
wait, sorry.
Valamine.
Red's Valamine.
Valamine. I'm sorry. I'm colorblind.
Oh.
Oh, and
Oh,
red
sorry,
and
I
green
didn't know.
too. No, it's the worst.
Anyway, back down here to Eastvaria, where the rest of y'all needed to get to, motherfuckers. Like,
Okay. So I think 100 from Newwold to Wodale. Or
Yeah.
to the tower?
or to the
To the
tower,
tower.
yeah.
Yeah,
to the
to the
tower.
tower.
Okay.
And then
Man, it's a shame that the keep people can only go to Dastow.
That is a shame.
But that's
Yeah.
okay. That's the way the map is.
yeah, they got to go down the mountain. It's a lot. So 600, yep. And then from Hillgrove to Tower.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, should they go to Tower or should they go to Newold?
Okay. And then I
It
would.
isn't really. I guess it's the same distance. Sorry.
No, you're good. I would like. Can we take 1,000 from Shredina? Because I know they said they wanted to leave They wanted to leave all of Aelden. For sure. Can we take all of Shredina?
Yeah, you can take all of Shredina.
Now here's
all
the
of
thing.
these, everything on the map that has a token you can move.
Are we for certain that there won't be any surprise rifts?
I'm
nope.
We are not
no.
for certain.
Okay.
Is there a token at Castle Blackmore that we can move?
No, there's not.
I mean, I feel like
There
It's
should
just
be.
it's just Gabriel just doing this.
It's if any token gets to Castle Blackmore, they instantly die. No saves.
I feel like we could easily take this amount over and we could start to split this one up if we want to leave some peeps behind back here. But this big chunk will be really nice trying to push in to here.
Yeah. And we could add the 2,300 to the 600.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It'd be
Dastow.
2,900 archers.
Yeah.
Would they go to Dastow or would they go to the keep?
So they would go
Dastow keep.
using Super Mario rules. It would go.
Yeah, I'd follow the path there
Okay.
to the. To...
Yep.
Okay, so we
So
can
do you wanna do that?
combine, yeah, to 2,900 and then 1,250 from Aelden. Aelden? Yeah, to Shredina.
Yeah.
So
Slicer. Cut it in half.
Okay.
Like,
Yes,
you
that'll
didn't
be
even have to make any new
1,250
tokens.
in both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That worked out.
Thank you. That's pod racing.
But by the way, sorry, I know things got a little weird with like the party stuff, but weren't half of us going to Woolbrook to make sure that it was safe?
Oh.
Yes.
Yes,
Or
but
the
that's
non-years
on
half.
Valamine's turn.
We're not just doing it now.
I think that we should do it when. Or do we do it when? I mean, we can say where we're going, but
I think the only time you have to do it on Valamine's turn is when Valamine goes to Crest Basin. Because you got to travel with them. You can't just be at Crest Basin. Because we said you have to be with another unit.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
just wait till we have the turn of the things that we. Well, no, I see. what
Well,
you're
because
saying, Ryan.
Demogorgon's going to go before Valamine,
Yeah.
so we
Oh,
should
that's
have our
true.
people there
then yeah,
to
let's
ensure
move
the auto win.
Yeah, let's
the
just
non-Ursa token to Woolbrook.
Yeah.
To Woolbrook, yeah.
yeah, put that there.
I mean, I don't like the chonky group at Dragon's Reach and Valamine's
Can I?
pretty sucky.
Well, that's what we're going to need Siri for, to just
Yeah.
weaken them down before we make our ground charge.
Whale on him. Because I think
Is
once
that
we-
Isvaria's turn?
No.
We need to put
Well,
our,
sort of.
put
Okay, so
the non-Ursa token on this one, please.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're
Would it-
combining.
And then Ursa will go to this is, I guess the 800 on Artis, because Artis is gonna go to. Oh no, never mind. We have the Dagrim. So the one on
Yeah.
Refolk.
An artist can't go to Crest Basin unless they have a
Oh yeah, because I guess
airship,
yeah. Okay,
right?
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
How do I? You know what? 0.5. I need to make Ursa's token smaller because it's actually taking up a lot of space. There we go. There we go. Now I can click
Nice.
things.
Let's
Cool.
go, dude. Innovation.
Okay. Demogorgon's turn.
I believe so,
Demi
yeah.
Lovato, let's hear it.
We were gonna have the Dagrim airship take the Hombefort people to Wodale.
They would go to Riffin.
It's with the airship.
Well, it's not Valamine's turn yet, so they can move. You can move. Well, you can move them one space with the airship when it's not their turn, and then they can move on their turn.
Oh, okay, got it, guys. So yeah, it would be Riffin. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Demogorgon's turn. I'm just gonna do the top of the round is when those things are gonna respawn, instead of on Demogorgon. Actually, you know what? No, I feel like top of the round. We're not changing it. Let's see. Oops, shoot.
I will say, if it's top of the round, do those units get to do something at top of the round? Because if
No, they just
not,
respawn. They just respawn on the space.
Because if not, then those units will potentially, if we have our plan in place where we have things at the rifts, then they'll never engage in combat because it'll never get to their turn. Whereas if they spawn, they'll still die, but they will be the ones like initiating the attack.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I'm going
think.
to. We'll just do it on Demogorgon's turn to keep everything kosher.
I think that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's
if
what
I'm
I was
getting
worried
confused.
about
I
with the
think that's-
spawning, is I wanted to make sure it was kosher.
Let me see.
Let's keep everything halal.
It is a D10 times 5.
D10 times.
What?
D10 times 5?
So there's only 50 units spawning at max?
No, sorry. D100 times 5.
Yeah, I was like,
Wait,
wow, we really over prepared this.
I also thought you said it was a minimum of 500.
You did say that.
So if it's
Yeah.
a D100 times 5, then that means it's a maximum of 500.
You're right, so it'd be times 10.
Well, you could still roll all ones.
Yeah, it's a minimum of 500, but if I roll above a 500, it can be a unit. that's
Okay,
higher
it'll
than
get
that.
rounded up if you roll lower. Got it. Okay.
That makes sense, yeah. So
I was like,
always
wait.
500 or more.
No, it wouldn't. I'm confusing my fucking self, dude. I swear.
D100 times 5 plus 500.
That's
No,
a
it would be
maximum of
D100.
1,000.
It would.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maximum
D100
of
times
1,000.
5. Yeah. Okay.
D100 times 5 plus 500. That's the formula.
Which means it'll never be a minimum of 500, but that's okay.
Okay.
It would
so
be
this
a
is gonna
minimum
spawn
of
here.
a 0, 0.
505.
Well, 0 on a D100 is 100.
Is 100. You're right.
Guys.
Yeah. Minimum of 505.
What up, Felicity?
Okay.
John's
so
still
this is
rolling right
now-
now. I didn't think we were doing anything.
This is now 1,000 units.
Good thing yours is there.
How many were there?
There were
500.
Back to 500. I'm rolling real
Where'd the
bad.
extra 5 units go?
They stayed home. They were
Oh, I can
sleepy.
just press the up arrow. That's nice. Man, I just rolling like ass.
Good.
I trust you, John.
Oh shit.
I'm starting
Oh,
to
wait,
get
what am I
lost in
doing?
the sauce with this math, but I'm trusting you.
No, I'm just gonna add it to this.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Demogorgon's math. All that matters is our numbers. My number big, that's all that matter.
This is 1,000. And then this is 2,500 down here in the fucking ocean. Cool. Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna play Demogorgon like they're smart. Because these are abyssal creatures. That's gonna go there. This is going to go to Al Shaham. I don't know how oceans work in this map, so over there. And then turn resolves. Dagram beats these guys. These guys. Party beats these guys.
Nice.
Siri beats these guys.
Nice.
No, wait. Yeah. Okay. Valamine's turn.
Quicken.
Right.
So
well.
So now the dwarves are just at the tower, but it doesn't matter because wait, there's 1,000 of them now. So that would be 350 plus Ursa versus 1,000. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's just not an auto win. You have to roll.
Oh.
And then if we fail the d20, does Ursa and the other 2 people die?
No, the party members don't die. You guys would just back. Just back up.
Can these 800 not get to Crest Basin, or do they have to go to Rift Folk? Or yeah,
You still have another airship. You're muted, Nick.
Sorry, we do not have an extra airship because we used the second one to move the people from Hombafort to Riffin.
Yeah.
To save
No,
them.
that was
no,
one
that's
spot.
that's a roadmap.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't their turn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're right.
So we had
You're
to
right.
use the airship, otherwise they all would have been nommed by this 1250 right here.
Nom.
So
we had to use the airship that way.
If this resolves to a roll, you guys have advantage because you have a party member.
Do we want to take the risk of losing people, or do we want to like wait a turn and get this 800 and these people up into Riftfolk and up into the tower so then they can all move together next round?
You know, I like the sound of a gamble. I'm gonna be honest.
I actually kind of was thinking we have the advantage.
Let's get some. Let's do something a little crazy. Why don't we?
Let's get some blood on our hands.
New mechanic. If the party, depending on however many party members are there, is going to add that to the roll. So normally it's just a d20. If there's 3 party members there, you have it with advantage, and it's a d20 plus 3, 4 plus 6.
Ooh, so we could split the party 1 and 5. That's
and then add that to the roll. If you don't auto.
Okay, so that means does that scrap the advantage rule?
No, the advantage is still there.
Okay,
because
all
a
right.
party member is there.
So it's a
But you have a plus
d20
3.
plus 3 with advantage. I like those odds.
What are we trying to roll though?
Beat their number, right?
Yeah, you just beat their number.
Oh, it's just a roll off. Okay.
Yeah, it's just
dude.
a roll off.
Let's roll off all over their freaking faces.
And if it was a roll off without us, then they would lose the amount of
the plus
subtraction. If it's a roll off with us, then there's no loss of troops if we win.
Correct.
Boom.
Because wait, who's on Ursa's team right now? It's Ursa.
Nah.
The same
We
teams as
didn't pick.
before.
Yeah,
Ursa
same
Gag-
teams as before.
Ursa
Enid
Gagini.
and Basil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Rift
You're right.
Wardens. The Rift Wardens are going
The
to
Wardens.
Jack, Ursa, Enid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
We gotta figure out who's gonna get the street cred as people go through and see
Oh, yeah.
see you guys fuck up Demogorgon forces.
Oh, we're all wearing the robes. Gag's
Oh, yeah.
insisting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Valamine's turn. What are they doing?
All right,
What are we doing?
we're
Let's
rolling off,
roll.
buddy.
So we're putting these 150 and these 200 with Team Wardens.
Mm-hmm.
In Crest
Here.
Basin.
We're gonna move him
Yes.
over there because they go here. Team Wardens here.
Yep.
Against 350 units plus 3 party members versus 1,000 Demogorgons. Well, not Demogorgons.
1,000 Demogorgons. Holy shit!
You lose.
Wait, okay, so does the amount of Valamine soldiers affect what the roll is?
No.
No,
So we
it's
could
just
have-
they have double the
Nick,
forces,
don't,
so it
don't.
doesn't matter.
It's not.
No, so I was gonna
Stop.
say, so we could have one
Nick,
Valamine
stop.
soldier with us.
Stop.
I'm guessing it's like we can't have less than 100 soldier groups because otherwise the Valamine in particular would be very easy to abuse.
Let's just say it's about honor, and if anyone's there, they're going.
Yeah. All right. Let's roll.
All right.
Well,
Honor.
were we moving any other Valamine troops at all
Oh,
before
yeah,
we
shit.
roll?
Oh,
Yeah, but we
Like-
can't move them to the Crest Basin.
No, but I meant just
we
on this
can-
turn.
Yeah.
You might as well get
that.
the 800 up to Riff Oak, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then the 150 up to Artis.
Yep.
And then the 150.
This 150 to the Sprawling Hills Tower.
Okay, sorry. So this one's going here.
Well, do we
I
want to move
think
anything down here? Because we got a pretty thin little group down south.
Yeah, I think we need to push some pressure down south.
Maybe this 150 shouldn't go to Artis.
Yeah, this 150
Yeah.
right here. Let's send him to the tower down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
this
then-
is what, 300 now?
Well, and then we should send this 150 to Wodale.
Oh, okay.
And then
I'm
this
just gonna get these on the
150
map, honestly.
to Riffin.
Well,
or should we have?
I think we should take the ones from Riffin and move them back because there's 1250 at Hambleport that can move on to Riffin next.
Well, remember,
Well,
if,
they can't.
if Valamine has 2, they can't move on to the square.
Oh, got
Yeah.
it.
So we
right.
should do that
Yeah.
to save the Valamine people.
What were you gonna say, Felicity?
Well, I was just rules questioning. I thought it
Forgot
was
about
just if Valamine moved onto a space, not if there was 2, but maybe it doesn't matter.
No,
I think
2
they had
on
to
1.
move onto a shared space.
Oh.
I mean,
yeah, they have
we've
to be
been
on the same space.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been combining the units, but having the 2 things there gives us a visual of the fact that they moved.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
Well, I
that's
just
good,
So we moved that 150 down, and then honestly, maybe we should bring this 800 up still because
Yeah.
we are getting a lot of East Varia people down south,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
we should be okay.
and some Dagrim people are going down south too.
Yeah. And what we
Yeah.
can do now is we can just continue to rotate off of Riffin. So we can take one off of
Yeah.
Riffin, put it on Wodale, put the one on Wodale on Riffin.
I just noticed that too. We just locked out the south.
Shield wall!
Just Dragon Riders.
Shield wall!
and
Dragon Riders!
They're trying to get there. They're getting fire spewed at them the whole time.
Dude,
Cool.
hell yeah.
Awesome. Wobrook
Nate-
didn't move. Do we want to move Wobrook or not?
I don't know where they would go besides being like closer to the Demogorgon
I-
people. Right now
I-
they're kind of like in a little nook. They're hiding.
Yeah,
I think having them there is good because then we can move units on top of them again to kind of lock out the north because they have to go through Woolbrook. So I think having them there for now, nothing can hurt them right now, and we can retreat later if necessary. But I think having them stay there is the best move.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the party stays there until the top of the round. But they were there because they stopped the people from Newald getting them.
Yep.
Okay. So we good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Valamine is
All right.
done.
All right,
Now
roll
it's
off.
time for the roll off.
All right.
Who's rolling it?
Who
Actually,
wants-
you know what? Yursa, roll it. You're over there. So
D20 plus 3.
plus 3 with advantage.
What's advantage?
So just roll 2d20s and then add 3 to the highest.
Oh! Oh, shit. Okay, that's not great.
What?
So roll 2d20s and then just add 3 to the highest.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Let's go, dirty 20!
36! 36!
Wait.
Wait, well, I
It's
17
not
and a 6.
advantage.
No, 17, so 20.
So
Okay.
So good. Yes. Hell yeah.
Sorry.
You're so
You
fucking...
guys auto win and take out the 1,000 forces at Crest Basin.
Dude, that
Yursa,
was-
Enid, and Gak display immense power as you have only 315 Valaminian soldiers with you, most of which are townsfolk with pitchforks. So they're just stabbing abyssal creatures while there are 3 gods literally next to them just fucking casting spells and sun beaming and firewall and fucking teleporting places and throwing daggers. I will say to close a rift, we need Yursa to roll her dice for her staff.
You got this, Yursa.
Oh, what am I rolling?
It's the staff to close a rift.
Yeah.
I forget whatever it
Okay.
says.
Glad we all are on the
Um,
same page.
Let me read. It's been a minute, so.
Ta-la-la-la-la.
Using an action, you can channel the arcane power of the staff to break the connection between a person and the rift. Keep it open. An unknown creature. I mean, I don't really have to roll anything. I just have to, if there's a person there,
Really?
Yeah. Break tether. Using an action, you can channel the arcane power of the staff to break the connection between a person and their rift, which keeps it open. An unwilling creature must make a DC 18
Oh, yeah.
saving throw.
That's right, and you already killed Vandarin.
Yeah, man. He hella dead.
Cool.
Close it.
Well then, yeah. Yrsa, you walk up to this rift, you slam down your staff, and you watch all the globes and the runes around start to cycle and circle around, and you watch as this rift you force and close. Crest Basin is a closed rift.
Let's freaking go.
All right. We're gonna say, by the way, for coolness, 1 round is 1 week.
Oh, spicy.
I've been on the road for 1 week.
So I'm just gonna keep a tally of that. Okay, Siri, they can't do anything. Well, that's not 100. Yes, it is. Yeah, they can't do anything. Dagram.
Dagram. So do we? These 500 are here for songs, just in case, and there won't
they
be more
cannot
than
move.
and there won't be more than 1,000 that show up.
Yeah.
So move.
So they're
this other
fine.
500.
I don't think we need to because they have the thing where if they are half or more than the other troops, they automatically win without a roll. So because there will never be more than 1,000 coming out of the rift, those 500 staying there pretty much lock it off until we can go up there and close it.
Okay.
So they're just holding down the
Well.
fort.
Then I guess they
Is that
stay.
how Dagram works?
No, it's not.
I thought it.
No, I think Felicity, you were right in what you were about to say, because they lose no units in battle if the enemy has equal or less than them.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So
then yeah, let's move those 500 up.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to combine this? Yeah, let's combine this.
Yeah, I feel like everyone but Valamine
Yeah, true.
is fine to combine. Valamine, we just want to see our little bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Our bubbles, our knickknacks, our paddywhacks.
You'll give the dogs the bones.
Because we can always split the other units, but Valamine, we need to see them. Yeah.
Okay, so you have these up here.
Cool.
Yes, and
Belvedere's
then
gotta
Belvedere stays.
stay.
I'm just imagining the fucking snow elves and songs, and they're like, "What the fuck are these dwarves doing here?"
How did you find us?
It's especially they came in from the airship. Dwarves are just parachuting off.
Really funny.
I can only imagine
then I
like the
saw-
Willem Dafoe meme from the Lighthouse, where he's like,
Yeah.
Goofy.
So this 150 here, right?
And then this 1,000 here.
There? Yeah. Sick.
We're coming for you, Demi Lovato. You fucking watch out.
East Varia.
I'm Doug Demogorgon. Okay, East Varia. We could keep moving this 2,900 to with the Dagram people, right?
Yeah. And then if we move this, would it go to Wodale next? Or
Yes. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, let's get them there. Because once the archers are here, we can start to attack.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we need more than 100, but we can start to attack.
And
then push
because we have Dagram and a giant 2,900, so we have like 1,000 Dagram, 2,900 East Varia that are coming to the south. This 250 that are at the Tower of Hillgrove, do we want them to move up
Honestly,
to like Artis
yeah.
and then up to Riffolk, that area, and move with that team?
I'm
Yeah, I
okay
think
with
that'd
that.
be a great idea.
I agree.
Because they can also shoot from far away. So from Artis, they could attack Riftfolk if they needed to. Like they could support it.
Honestly, when these bitches get over here, we could probably send 900 at least, like up north too, to help.
Yeah.
From like the distance, because we don't need a million archers in the south.
No. So I feel like what we need to do, we have people at Thalbadir, the Sangsa people we have. For Dagram at least, we're just trying to get some over to Valamine to like sit on it. If we can collect enough, because there's a big group of people there.
Yeah.
But if we can
Also-
start collecting them, plop them.
So, sorry, diverting a little bit. So, is our next plan to have us close the Sangsa Rift, and then sorry for team, and then when are we getting over here?
I
You
think
know,
after
the-
the Sangsa one is when we should go handle the Kraken.
Yeah.
That's what I
Because-
was just about to suggest. I couldn't remember if that's what we landed on though.
Yeah, because then, I mean, literally, with the Kraken dead, we can have all of Ciri move to Valamine, and then all of our units will be converging in on Valamine also.
Sick.
Yeah.
I mean, besides poor Thalbadir.
Yeah, you know what? They want that rift anyway, so...
And all of the Ciri units together. This is 11,000, and then 12,200, 13,600 is how many Ciri units there are.
I will say this, that looking at the rules I typed out, the Valamine passive is if there are more than one Valamine unit in the same space, an enemy unit with less than double the amount cannot move onto that space for one turn.
Okay.
So this unit can move on to this space.
That's true.
Okay.
I will say this. I will allow you to add all ally units in that space. So like even if Isvaria is there, as long as there are 2 Valamine units on there, you can also add Isvaria to the total amount on that space.
I was just about to
Okay.
ask that. I mean, that makes sense to me, too.
Because of that, do we want to take the? Do we want to say that Riffin's gonna be gone, and we have to move those 2 to Wodale?
Or we can use an airship to move the other party to Riffin.
We could do that, and then we'll also be there.
Yeah.
The other
Has the
team.
party already moved on this round?
We
Nope.
not.
Okay. The airship only allows you to move to another space close by. It's not anywhere on the map. It's not, you can't go all the way across. The only way you could get here with the party is if you have means to get there with all of the things you have at your
Yeah,
disposal.
I thought the
as-
party
as
just teleports.
Yeah,
the
because
party can
We have
teleport.
plane shift in both parties, so
Yeah, and Ursa has transport via plants, and then the other half could have the port class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But could the airship with Mario rules, could Wobrook not go to Niewald and then go to Riffin?
no, because it's the next closest one, which would be Ham before.
Yeah.
Well, then that's not Mario.
He said it was like Mario, not exactly
I guess
Mario.
the tri-road is the little mushroom house that you have to stop at.
Yeah.
There you go.
So then we just we port glass, or it's a week of time in between these rounds. So like we'll
you
have
get
this
your
all
spells
set.
back,
Walk. They can walk this way.
They get there.
All right, teleport, and we'll help them hold this until more of these troops from East Varia can get here.
Okay. So this is still a roll-off if they attack.
That's it.
Yeah.
Still a lot of
it's-
people.
But it's advantage +3.
Yep. Okay. Is that it? For East Varia?
I think so.
I believe so. The Wobrook
think
people
we
are safe
moved
for now.
everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because no one's going to get to them yet. So they're okay.
Demogorgon's turn. See how many creatures he gets back.
None.
I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. 500. 500 here. Man, I can't roll well enough to get above 500. Sad, sad for me. I'm not gonna put creatures here because they're instant gonna die.
Yeah.
Unless I roll 1,000, which is not gonna happen.
Well, with Dagram, it's equal or less then.
That is
so even if
correct,
you
yeah.
did roll 1,000.
Dude, the fucking...
Dagram's got that shield and spear formation from Diablo 4 going, you know?
They're standing around the rift, spears pointing down at it, so they come out and just don't get a chance.
Okay, so this is going to.
Those guys calm.
Yeah. They're gonna split.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the stone forged vanguard. That's who's up there, dude.
$625, $625, and these are going to come down here. We're just going to go ahead and move this to Niewald, and then this one is going to be another $625. Oop. This is a lot. Okay, so the 500 is going to move down here. 500 is going to move here. Nice. Let's see. This one's just gonna. I'm gonna let it move 4 days at a time. No, a week, right? So a week is 10 days at a time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
7.
week.
In this
not
world,
in, not
it's
in
10.
Siri, or not in Fear. Every.
Oh.
I just started naming every continent.
Not in
Antarctica.
Not in Alari, not in the Ashparan Archipelago, not
Alright.
in Dripsec.
That resolves.
Frost.
Anybody from the party token team want to roll their d20?
I'll do it.
Ooh,
Shouldn't have been you.
Demogorgon.
First
You
D20.
suck.
We have advantage, yeah.
Second D20.
Oh,
But
They
Demo
fucking
roll
got.
3 D20s.
Demo rolled a fucking 3.
sorry,
you
I thought the
lucky
3 was
bastards.
Joe's, and then he rolled a 7. I was like,
I
God
thought
damn
so
it.
too.
Okay. Because the party's there, they take no damage.
Yay.
Oh, I forgot. 500 rolled 3.
Was that
Yeah.
the sequel to 3?
It's Ryan, I was
Yeah.
thinking that exact same shit.
All right. This will be the final. This will be our final round before the end of the session.
True. All right, so it's Valamine.
Valamine's up.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess they all moved south, right? But yeah. Oh,
Sorry, don't
Wait.
the party go first? Where'd the party go on the turn order?
The party goes whenever we choose to.
Well, then
Well,
shouldn't we just
yeah.
send them up to Sansa now and close the
once per
rift
round.
before we do
Once
anything
per-
else?
Yeah, the party can move once per round.
And the Ursa party hasn't moved
Moved
yet.
yet.
Round
So,
2.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, should we just do that first?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yours a party shows up. The people of songs are like, "Oh hey, what the fuck?" And
Got it all handled here.
Sick.
I was
The
level 5
artifact-
when I got here. I'm level 8 now.
The artifact is back somehow. Yursa, you just smash that shit on the ground and then place your staff and
Hell yeah.
and close the rift to Sangsa,
Sorry.
removing
You
all
go
of
up
its
to-
energy and
To
magic.
Otto's dad, and you're like, "Hey, come here." Just zap him with a staff and separate him.
Alakablam.
Not
So
kill
you
him,
close
just separate him.
You close the rift to Sangsa. Over time, they will just eventually slowly lose all of their magic, which we're okay with.
R.I.P. dude. That's so sad. We just ruined the
So-
whole culture.
It's
Maybe-
what everyone
maybe they could-
unanimously agreed to do.
Maybe they could just like learn magic like the rest of us.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So back to the
Yikers.
game.
Go to school.
All right, so this 800 should definitely move to Willowbrook, which will definitely keep these bitches from moving on to us. 350 to Riffle, and
150 to
Sprawling
Riffle, too.
Hills to Crest Basin.
Or were they there for the were they at Crest Basin?
They were at Crest Basin for the fight. Yeah.
It was
so they can move
it was
to
just hard
Riffle,
to tell
too.
because
Okay.
they're all
Okay.
stacked on top of each other.
Maybe we can combine the 150 and the 350. Actually,
That's fine.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What was that? 500?
just for I don't know.
Yes.
Math.
Now that we're kind of moving in, I think that's
Yeah,
a good
we're getting a little bit
idea.
more clumpy.
Yeah, fall in.
I think having the 2 in Willowbrook is still good though.
Yes. We should also. I mean, do we not want to move the Wodale group over there as well?
Yeah,
Is he on
The tower.
a border? Oh, okay.
So
Because we
then-
could
Yeah.
maybe put the 150 with the 100 group and combine those, so it's not 3 people trying to squeeze onto a thing.
So we want to
Yeah,
move
so it could
him
be
down
like-
here.
Yeah.
And then we'll do. Was it 350? Is 150 plus 100?
Nope, that's 250.
That's true.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is the right math. Okay.
I mean, yes.
Is
Well,
that
arcane tokens up here?
it's not
I
more
think-
than the total of Hamba Forts. Forces.
No, but if the party is still
Yeah, that's still
there
helpful.
for now.
Yeah.
And the party won't have to go to Woebrook because the Newald people can't.
Yes, they can't go that way.
Question: Does Eastvaria support from one location away too, or just
Yeah.
attack from one
Yeah.
location?
Oh, that's a good point.
What do you mean support from one location?
So
Oh,
like if
no,
these
they
forces
don't-
attack
no.
here, no, okay.
No, they just attack from one location away.
Okay.
Oh.
So they don't add to the total fighting thing, but they add an extra 100 on a potential attack that way.
Yeah, it's only
Not-
like
not
them,
defense,
them
yeah.
attacking, not defending. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
But it's pretty sick. Like if they were in Riffin
Oh,
right
yeah.
now, they could send 100 to Hombafort and make it
this
525.
clump was fucking here right now. These bitches gone.
They're
anyway.
coming.
They are.
We just
We
have
could
to hold the
airship-
line.
We could airship them to Wodale this turn if we wanted to. Well, no, we could only do 500. Never mind.
Okay. I think that was the move, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With that, another week passes. Actually, hold on. Let me update the calendar. So we keep this all. Okay, the calendar's broken.
Woo!
Nightall the 24th, and then it is Hammer the 4th. It's funny.
Bang bang.
During this leg of the war, winter is here.
I didn't even know it was coming.
Yep, now you do.
Thank you, Nick.
Well, this doesn't want to.
For all the viewers at home, I smiled on the webcam.
That's true. I forgot no one else can see that.
Okay. As 2 weeks into the war, the party has managed to close 2 of the rifts, pushed back some of Demogorgon's forces that are still infinite at this point in other areas, but you have secured the western portion of Ephira. The forces of Siri are still on hold, as the Kraken is still something that needs to be dealt with. But Crest Basin and the rift to Songza are closed. You are gathering forces, and the battle continues weeks and weeks forward. But we will come back to this and see where we go next week, where we're probably going to be fighting the Kraken next week and some other cool things as the final battle of the campaign has started.
Woo!
So, with that, that is the end of the session.
Woo!
Joe, take us out.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to tune in on Saturday for Isles, Tuesday for Salamander Coast, or next Wednesday for the Tales of Evrand. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.